What's up, everybody? Welcome in. I'm Agro. I'll be your host
And
for
I'm
the
DukeSloth.
Sands and Skies
Today we're
update
looking
show.
at
And let me tell you, it's going to be a big one. I've been doing this update show thing for a while. This is the thickest packet since season 6. I mean, it is going to be a huge show. 2 new gods, both Horus and
that's
Set.
going to be rough.
We'll show you guys those in just a little bit. We've got a ton of new skins, some great new community events, and a really sick surprise that we're going to open the show with in just a moment. But first, we want to go over some of those skins that I just mentioned and show you guys the card arts.
Bear with me while I quickly adjust
So let's start
things here.
with Illuminator Baron Samdi.
You will
this
be
one
able
that
to
you've
see a little
probably
bit.
seen.
I just
Looks
have to
amazing.
adjust my audio
Helheim
levels really
Uller as well, I believe, was spoiled a little bit earlier. Pop
I
Punk
think
Hell,
we should be good like this.
one that I'm definitely excited about. Marrow Eater Fenrir.
Because
Gladiator
I only have
Thor,
one screen today compared to the usual
Fabled
2.
Artio, and my personal favorite, Blinky Chibi Giannis. Just look at the little guy. I can't wait to see this skin. Everything about that is going to be
cool.
amazing.
I think we
can't
are
wait
good.
for it. But that's a little bit later on. First, we're going to open up with an announcement for a new game that you guys can play. It's called SMITE Blitz. Take a look.
Oh wow, they actually got through that already. It must be the phone game then. Yep, that is the phone game, if I've ever seen one. So, that looks interesting. I don't know how to feel about it yet, but I'm gonna check it out. It looks like it's beyond just my characters. Alright, so what I wanted to quickly say, like, it's super early for me here, so forgive me if I talk a little bit quietly. I don't want to wake everyone up. It's like 5 in the morning.
That's right, everybody. SMITE Blitz. It's
But
coming to your
I'm
mobile
gonna try to stay
phones.
awake.
It's going to be an absolute blast. Let me tell you, I've been playing it a little bit recently and having a lot
And
of
it
fun.
was
But don't
super
take
hot
my
tonight.
word for it. Instead, we've got Alex, brand manager across all the high-res games, and high-res log, aka the associate producer here on this one. Guys, talk to us about SMITE Blitz. What is this game?
So SMITE Blitz is a character collection RPG for iOS. And
Okay, they are more quiet. No, it's gonna be fun.
It's kind of a new way to play and
they turn up.
experience the SMITE universe. We're pulling in new characters, old characters, revamping some old ones to give a really fresh take on it.
Awesome.
It's really just a way of expanding the SMITE universe even further, right? Like,
Sure.
One of the things I talked about last time I was on this show was marketing and making sure that like more people are hearing about SMITE, right? And by putting this game on mobile, the idea is that we spread the brand even further, get more people interested in both the mobile game and the MOBA.
Awesome. Well, as we saw a little bit in that little highlight video, it's formation based. You know, you're kind of building your team, and then you kind of let them loose across the battlefield. Describe the gameplay to the people at home.
Yeah, so you're going to be doing a series of PvP and PvE tasks, playing through a story in the adventure mode, assembling a team of 5 gods in most modes that you've unlocked and powered up, and assembling them to have their synergies work well with each other. They auto battle against waves of enemies, but then you're also able to control their ultimates, so aim and target their ultimates against certain enemies to devastate them.
Awesome. And Alex, we
Sounds
saw a
very
lot of
little
those
interaction.
gods already in that little preview, but they looked a little bit different. I recognized a lot of them, but some of them were ones that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Check
the team that's
everything's
working
working
on
out,
this game,
right?
which is completely separate from the main Titan Forge team.
It's really weird you only have one screen,
has
just
done
letting
some
you
really
know.
interesting things with a couple of the gods and reimagined them in different ways that maybe look better on the mobile screen or just interpret a different part of the lore than we chose to interpret with the original versions.
Sure.
So we have some gods that we just haven't been able to bring out in the MOBA yet. And we have some gods that just look completely different. Yeah. And some gods even that this team started working on their interpretation of before SMITE did, and ended up looking very different. So.
Yeah. Super cool. It's really exciting. I mean, the first thing I did when I got my hands on it was just scroll through the gods list and be like, oh, wow, that Ra looks totally different than what our Ra looks like in traditional SMITE. Here's a little side-by-side preview, actually.
I don't even recognize that.
Yeah, a little more like a human and still looking cool, though.
Yeah.
The general vibe's still there, I'd say. For every single god, you should be able to basically recognize them, what they look like.
It's whitewashed Ra.
For the most part.
For the most part, yeah. A couple of them were a little bit different.
And,
a little bit different.
I'm sure that most people may have seen on Twitter the Loki teaser that we had that went out. That is the core Blitz version of Loki. It's not a skin for him.
Oh,
it is in SMITE, which
interesting.
we'll talk more about later. But that's just another example of how we've kind of reinterpreted the gods here.
So you mentioned that some of the gods that are in SMITE Blitz aren't in SMITE. Zhurong and gods like that. What's the plan for those gods? Are they staying separate in SMITE Blitz? Is there a crossover opportunity? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, definitely. So, I will never say never, but one of the reasons why these gods were chosen is because maybe we thought that there was something in their lore that would perform well in this style of game, right?
Sure.
You know, a lot of times we look at gods for the MOBA and we're like, man, that's a really cool god, but how do you make a good kit out of it? But for a game like this, we can do different things that
I'm not sure why
better
that
from
changed,
this
yeah.
perspective, and do some really cool stuff. So Hodor right here, yeah.
Yeah, really, really cool. Haven't unlocked him yet, but I've been hoping to pull him so far. Jean-Quy looking really
Jean-Quy.
sweet.
Very
Oh, I like
different.
that Jean-Quy.
Yeah, very different.
Here's probably the most stark example.
I
of
wish we had that as a
character.
skin.
Lost some weight. Jean-Quy in
It doesn't
in this
work because it's a
version.
different model, but that's
Logan,
cool.
you mentioned some of the different ways that you can play. It's PvP and PvE.
Yep.
Do you want to go a little bit more in depth on the different modes that players can enjoy?
Yeah, for sure. When you first download the game, you're going to be thrown right into the PvE experience. So there's an adventure mode with 20 chapters currently. It's going to take you through a story that spans the different pantheons. You're going to be unraveling a plot to bring peace to the realm. And as you go through those story steps, you're going to be unlocking a ton of different modes. I think there's
I don't like the
14 or
diaries.
15 different modes in this game that you can delve into. Some of them PvP, some of them PvE, some of them are real-time PvP, some of them are asynchronous PvP. So playing against other people's teams, their strongest compositions.
Oh, they have like
hitting up
everything.
your people against theirs and just seeing who wins. Sometimes
Okay,
you're playing
looks good.
1v1
Looks
in
good.
real
Looks
time
good.
against somebody. So.
I
Talk
think
to me
we're
about
okay
this
on the audio.
adventure. Where there's a pretty big story throughout this whole game. What are we doing in the adventure modes of SMITE Blitz?
Yeah, so we've actually had a narrative written for this game. It's not implemented in the current version of the game, so we'll talk a little bit later about how you can get the game and access it right now. But we're kind of got a test version out there for people to play right now. The narrative is not implemented in there. It's kind of garbage language for the text at the moment for the narrative. But once the game comes out, we're going to have a really robust narrative that's written by an author that's going to take you through this really cool story of spanning pantheons.
That's super. I've been having an absolute blast, guys. I really can't emphasize that enough. A big thing that I wanted to flesh out, but I wasn't sure if I could do it quite yet. And you can see some gameplay going on your screen right now. This is what you've got going on when you're playing the game. Is the ability to build an alliance. This seems like a great sort of clan game almost, where you and your friends can come together and start working together, and that's something that we're planning on implementing.
Yeah, definitely. The game already has really, really robust clan features. So
I
you
don't
can
like
create a clan, invite
clan
a bunch
things
of
in
your
mobile
friends,
games at all.
increase the max clan size through progression and lots of building out.
I want
your
to play
clan
like a mobile
city,
game
upgrading
briefly on the
different
side,
buildings
not
for different
heavily
bonuses for all
invest
of your
into it.
clan members. Contributing shards for characters to different clan members who need them, and fighting bosses specifically with your clan to unlock special rewards. So
Wait, what? What?
The gameplay on screen right
Which
now,
one
I'm
of
like,
this?
man, do I get Zeus? Have I just not gotten that far
feel
yet?
the
I need-
strength of me.
yeah, I need.
that's the narrative that's in there right now.
Yeah, well, it's a little cheesy, I'd say, to say the least, but it's temporary.
The final version is much better. And a lot of
Yeah.
what you're going to see here and in the version that you're going to be able to download soon is very early, right? The
Right.
team's been working on this for a long time. There are over 60 gods, I think, and just a ton of different modes and stuff to play with. But, things like the font we want to change before the final version. A lot of the text needs to get redone. There's a lot of look and feel stuff. And we just want to get it out to you guys so
Sure.
you can get your hands on it and let us know what we need to change, how we can make this game better. Hi-Rez has always been great about getting things to players early and then iterating based on their feedback. And I think we plan to do that again here. So.
All right, well, let's not delay anymore. We keep saying you can get your hands on it soon. You can get your hands on it soon. How do the players get their hands on it?
So you can go to playsmiteblitz.com. That's playsmiteblitz.com.
PlaySmiteBlitz.com.
There are going to be two links at the top, one for Apple, one for Android. We should note that there's a hard limit on 10,000 users for Apple in the testing phase. So get there quick if you're an Apple user. Just go
I
through
appreciate
those
that they
links,
roll
opt
both
in,
at the
and
same
you'll be able to
time.
download and play the game.
Right now,
Yeah.
it's the right way to
That's a
do
good
it.
move.
Yeah, technical alpha right now.
Technical
Yes.
alpha.
Yes.
So, how long do we expect this technical alpha to last? How long do the players have a chance to get their hands on it?
The current plan is for 2 weeks, so we're thinking about ending it sometime in early May, just to make sure that we can get enough data for server stats and making sure that everything technically is solid for when we are ready to take it to the next step.
It's a ton of fun, guys. Trust me. Again, PlaySmiteBlitz.com. That's the place to go if you want to get your hands on the game right now. It's the time to do it. Logan and Alex, thank you guys for joining us. Again, PlaySmiteBlitz.com. Head on over there. We here on the show are going to head on over to Hindu Man, though, as he goes over some of the exciting balance changes
Yes.
coming to Smite in the next update.
Jungle buffs.
We
Jungle buffs.
do have some nice balance updates, but first of all, some
Oh, Hindu's
Project
louder, huh?
Olympus stuff
Yeah.
too. Start things off this week. Obviously, a lot to go through this patch, so expect it to go a little bit longer than usual. We're going to start things off though with Project Olympus and Roll Queue and MMR updates. First of all, for you all, Roll Queue priority points no longer reset when you relog anymore, and ranked and normal conquest no longer share the same pool of priority points. I didn't know they did.
Yep. So in your
Oh, what?
single play session, you would
Interesting.
have priority points, but those will reset when you log in. We want to make
Can
sure
I
those are
manipulate that,
consistent playthrough. So if you logged out one night and didn't get to play your primary role, you can log in the next night and get your primary
That's
role. As well as making sure they're separate for different modes, because you might want to be playing different things that you want to do in like a normal conquest match than you would in a ranked conquest match.
So then you get end of the day, if you don't manage to get your roll at the last game, maybe the next game, the next
Yeah.
day, you'll get
Just
your roll.
improve
Actually, I like the priority
Not
call
only that,
system
but
already.
also
I get my roll
ranked.
most of the time now.
Quick update here.
It's pretty good for me.
Matchmaking rating and
Anti-sloth.
MMR gains and losses now properly display at the end of match lobby as well.
That way you can track your progress.
A lot easier. Now it's on to something more important, which is Jing 10. Now, obviously, he had a bit of time away for a while
Yes.
to get a few fixes, and we're going to run through quite a lot of those.
Oh,
Here.
yeah.
A little bit weirdy for some
Let's
stuff,
see.
but we need to go through them all individually, I guess. First up is Hook Slam. What was the main goal with this, first of all?
So for Xingqiang as a whole, we kind of took two different approaches. One is find things that about the character that felt strange or didn't have the proper feedback and look to address those. And the second was to look at bugs and fix those. So two different things here. And so for each ability, there's a section that talks about like general improvements that we made to the ability. So like
Oh,
it
thanks for
reads
showing us
better or it
Xingqiang
feels better.
jumping.
And then we also talked about the actual functional changes, the bug fixes that we made to address issues players would have.
And here's a little look at them then. Added a new effects to indicate the pre-fire of this ability. This gives players better indication as to when and where they will hit targets.
Wait, what? Wasn't that always?
Added new effects to indicate the hit
Oh,
area of the
oh no,
con
it just
part of
shows
this
briefly.
ability.
Oh,
The
okay.
effects on all, this affects all skins, by the way. Then it's also decreased the height of the animation of this ability while keeping the timings the same. This should help clarify that Jing 10 is still in play space and hittable while at the apex of this ability. Just remember, this is the second ability for you all at home if you get
okay.
confused about which one this is.
The 3 is
And bug
important
fixes
one.
to this, we've also fixed a bug where the first rank of this ability had a shorter range than intended. Huh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that like when we really dive deep into the character, we found we're like, oh yeah, that's something we should definitely fix.
First
Well, the
rank.
next
How does it
ability
even
to talk about,
happen?
that was Hook Slam. It's more to do with Sky Cutting X, the third ability. This is the one that had a few more tricky intricacies that had a couple of problems with it, so a lot of updates here. This ability now functions as a leap, not like a dash. Now, you may have thought it was a leap
What?
before, but it wasn't the case. It
Yeah.
was always a dash.
Yeah, you could definitely hit the person while they're dashing, and that created a lot of scenarios where
Wait,
it
you
felt like
couldn't
you got
pull them
away from
before?
an ability, or you felt like you were out of an ability, but you weren't. So now, when you actually do take off, it is treated as a true leap, which also being showcased here is you can now go through walls.
Two things to
Cool.
mention. First of all, well, we'll mention the go through
didn't know
walls
that was
first of
not the
all on
case
this. You can
at all.
jump over the smaller walls, round corners with this ability. But also, this means that Jing 10 has immunity frames
Yep.
immediately after he leaves the ground during the leap until he reaches back to the ground. So there's a small little window there
That's
where
a
you can
buff.
actually avoid some damage.
Yep.
Okay, that's going to be a big change for him too. Added new effects to clarify the hit area of this ability. Clarified tooltip to mention the duration of protection is tied to hitting an enemy. And then bug fixes. We fixed an occurrence where this ability would only get one charge or get extra charges past 2. This ability should now always fire up to 2 times. We fixed a bug where Jing 10 was able to refire his leap on respawning. We fixed a bug where the player was forced to refire the leap in order to put the ability on cooldown. We also fixed occurrences where the landing of this ability would not register properly. This should remove the likelihood where Jing 10 is unable to leap across a second time after being crowd controlled during the first ability fight. Damn!
Yep.
I like that ability. That helped me out a lot of times.
Yep.
I also fixed a bug where leaping into a cripple field would cause you to remain in the refire state permanently. So lots of fixes towards Jing 10. And the last one, oh, there's more.
Yep.
I didn't realize there was one more. The Whirlwind of Rage and Steel, otherwise known as the washing machine. We've clarified the tooltip regarding the number of hits for this ability, and we've also fixed a bug this ability was sometimes hitting for more than intended.
Yeah, depending on where you hit them and grab them, you could get like an extra tick in there. But yeah, you can see.
I really appreciate them
laundry list of changes. We
fixing
have a
up
ton of
Xingqiang
stuff going into
and taking
this,
the time,
one
taking
of
him
the
out
big
and really
things
cleaning
is
up.
this
That was a
the
good move.
God that a lot of people had posted.
feel
where
much
Travis
better then.
had a thread about what God do you feel doesn't feel like it's the cleanest. It has some bugs. he was the most upvoted, and so hopefully this is like tackling all those really big things, making sure the character feels polished, make sure that when you pick Xing Tian, you're gonna have a smooth experience. You don't have those jittery leap bugs that a lot of Xing Tian players were kind of familiar with.
So not too many playstyle changes, just more bug fixes overall. Although that leap change may be something that you want to play around with, have a little go in your games, see if you find a bit of love for Xing Tian. That's it on Olympus updates, but we'll move on to game balance of modes now, and the first one's going to be Assault. Now, we did just reveal a new Assault map, and some of this is, I guess, is to impact that. Those healing things are annoying.
Yeah, those healing things are pretty potent. So, cool new art style, cool new map, but the healing potions themselves, things that you could pick up, they were causing the game to kind of snowball too hard in one direction. There were situations that we were trying to address with this change where players often felt like they were trapped and like needed to die because they would need to reset their health pool, and so they had to find opportune times to die, and like it was a weird kind of case. So we wanted to provide some in-map healing that players could have access to. Also to widen the difference between different types of healers, and if a comp did have a healer and someone re-rolled their healer. So trying to find situations to fix that, and they're just too strong. So we've weakened them, and we've made them respawn less often.
Here's a look at that then. Decrease potion restoration for 15% instant health and mana down to 10%, and increase the potion respawn rate from 1 minute to 2 minutes. So see how that plays out in your Assault games going forward. Don't blame me for it. I just read them out, okay? I get in a lot of Assault games and people complain to me all the time about that. Item balance, though, more importantly, which goes for multiple game modes. We're going to start things off with Iqval this week is going to get a bit of a nerf in terms of cost. It was 2,450 gold. It's now going to go up to 2,600 gold.
I don't think Iqval was worth it now.
Yeah, so when looking at Iqval, it felt like the mid-game and late-game power of this item was roughly appropriate, but at the cost people had it at, you could really heavily rush it, and getting that much access to that much power and also being able to trade lowering enemy attack speed made this item a bit too effective when it was rushed. And so we're increasing the cost to make it so if you want this item, you do have to fit it later, and it is 75 power and 30% attack speed, so it's still definitely a good item for its price, but now rushing it is a bit of a weaker strategy.
Next up on the list of items this week is Rune Forged Hammer. That's also going to get a bit of a nerf. Its cost is going up. It was 2,300 gold. It's going to be 2,400 gold. But not only that, we're going to take 5 power off this item as well. It was 55. It will now be 50.
That probably should do it for
this is the story of the two hammers,
well.
right? This is Blackthorn Hammer, which is also on this list, and Runeforged Hammer. And this is something that we've been trying to get these items to a really good spot, and at the start of Season 6,
I think they're not ADC items
we're
anymore now.
experimenting with them. A lot of people thought they were too strong, and they've kind of found some other balance places in their builds. But as things have settled, they are a bit above the point of balance, which isn't surprising considering that like we had to buff them repeatedly for people to like value these items as strong choices. And so now that we've kind of see them level out where they are, we're going to do very targeted adjustments to them. For Runeforged Hammer, it's a slight cost increase and a slight decrease in power, so that you can't get access to tankiness and power, especially for like the non-warrior characters. So if you're a hunter or an assassin, this item's a bit more niche now. And then for Blackthorn Hammer, which we'll get to, that we reduce its effectiveness on how much raw stats it was providing for the 2,000 gold it gave.
And the raw stats on Blackthorn Hammer, as you can see, the bottom is going to be 450. Health is now 350 health. So it's taking 100 health off that. But that's really just to... It was very, very... It's a lot of health.
Yeah,
for
2,000 gold, like 350 plus power, plus some CDR and mana regeneration.
It's good to rush for effective
just never
health.
need to go back to base again. And you've already got infinite health. So that's that. Next up on the items, last but not least this week, is Haste and Katana. Also going to take a bit of a nerf here. We've increased the cost. It was 2,200 gold. It's now going to be 2,300 gold. But not only that, we're going to decrease the amount of attack speed you get from this item. It was 25%. It's now going to be 20.
This is just something that we've kind of talked about with these auto attack assassin junglers mainly.
Yeah, they're only coming because you trashed everything else.
And we're actually starting to see that actually get into pro play. We're seeing more Kali's, more Bakasura.
Can we stop nerfing everything that jungles have and do?
And so now that especially the top-end players are really seeing these characters kind of get into their games, and the stats that we've always had for these characters.
It's only being played because the other stuff is trashed already.
And Haste Katana is the one thing they all have in common. It's just a really effective, cost-efficient item, and so we're making it a little bit more expensive and slightly lowering the attack speed so that when you do get this online first, it's not as swingy in terms of your power overall.
Gotcha, so you're trying to hit the curve a little bit more. Okay, well, we'll see how that works out for you assassins in the jungle then going forward. We'll move on to God Balance next, and one of those assassins first on the list is going to be BASTET, getting a bit of a change. Actually, no, these are some targeter updates I should mention before going through all these. BASTET, DECLAW,
I really don't know what they think with the jungle. I really don't understand it anymore.
To convey this ability's area of effect when it hits an enemy.
You've shifted completely into late game, and then you nerf the late game balance as well.
Yeah, so Soul got this. I believe Aquatic got this, where it's basically you have the line targeter, but then you have the hit area circle, and that changes wherever you're aiming. KUKULKAN's 1, BASTET's DECLAW, and then
Scylla.
Scylla's one. All have that kind of AoE hit effect.
We
around
know
them.
that from the previous patches
But
already.
it
So I'm
just wasn't
kind
really
of like
conveyed well
talking
exactly
over
where
this.
the hit area is, where when you threw it, where exactly it was going to go. Now it's more readily apparent.
So for BASTET DECLAW, you can see that. Same for KUKULKAN's ZEPHYR, the first ability. If he lands that, you'll see the AoE around it. And the same for Scylla's Sikkim, so you get an idea of identifying where and whom may get hit by that ability of your fire right now. Moving on from that, Ganesha next on the list. Couple of changes for Ganesha here. Looks like buffs.
Oh, cool.
Turn of Fate, duration increase from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. I'm guessing that's to do with the power buff you get, right?
Yes, that is the power buff that you get from
It just
using this
says
ability.
3 to 4 seconds. I'm like, wait, what's
Yeah.
that? Ohm as well now provides extra magical as well as physical protection while channeling. Is it the same ratio?
Same ratio, so they share the exact same values.
Gotcha. So now it's going to get
Nice.
some magical protection too for Ohm, and also remove obstacles. Ganesha's third ability, damage increased. It was 75 to 255. It's now going to be
Alright.
90 to 270.
Alright.
Overall, why Ganesh love?
So
Ganesh
overall,
solo
it's
it is.
really we kind of talked about on the balance report show that Guardians were struggling a little bit in the win rate, and we want to see how the dual lane changes, especially with that extra minion that caused everyone to hit level 2 after the second wave. We did see supports overall get a bump from that, so that did have the impact that we kind of expected. But some characters didn't really get the impact as much as they needed to. Some of them were still underperforming, and Ganesh was one of them. And so we focused on things like
Yeah, that's fair.
making sure that you have enough duration to use the Turn of Fate power buff. Ohm, a lot of people expect it to be this Omni protection thing, and so they use
Sure.
it defensively, but it also is only physical, and so now making it so it is Omni protections really helps you. Like, if you are trying to avoid damage, it doesn't matter what type's coming in, you can use this to avoid it. And then finally, remove obstacles is you have to get in close. It's a kind of hard to hit skill shot. It's relatively thin for the size of Ganesh, but now when you hit it, you're a bit more aggressive. So especially when you're trying to go for kills in the early laning phase, or you're just trying to like set up for your team, you're bringing a little bit of extra punch to that.
We'll see how Ganesha works out. Next up is going to be Ho Yi on the list. Ho Yi's going to get an interesting change here. Sunbreaker, the ultimate. Ho Yi is no longer rooted and can move his camera freely while firing this ability. So there's a bit of a channel time involved with firing the ultimate. That's basically gone.
Yeah, your camera was locked and you were rooted in place. So now when you cast
That's
this, it'll be
interesting.
where you cast it, but you are going to be able to move around. You'll kind of be floating around, and then you'll also be able to turn your camera to see who's coming to attack you, or if you need to start moving in a different direction, you can start kind of aiming that way.
Okay.
So just overall quality of life of this ability. Hui has spent enough time in
It feels
this
like
right
more like
now
a
that
buff
he
than
can
just
actually
quality
know
of
where all
life.
the suns are in the sky, so he can shoot them down properly.
It's about time,
Yeah.
right? I
He
mean,
doesn't need to
keep
sit still
calm.
and stare.
Is it Nami also on the list here? Death's Draw Nigh. Decrease the threshold of missing health to gain a stack from 15% to 10%. Also, Spectral Projection. Sorry.
actually forgot what
Change
it is.
slow duration to be 3 seconds.
know
at
anything
all
about it,
ranks.
Nami.
He used to scale up, right?
Yeah, so you used to scale up per rank.
And now it's just going to be 3 at all ranks.
Yes.
Okay, that's pretty strong then. And Fade Away, the third
That's a buff.
ability for Izanami. Lowered travel time from 0.6 seconds to 0.5. And we've also removed the delay at the end of the dash. So
Which-
some of the trims are
Yeah,
yes.
it was
That's
like
a
a
buff.
self route for 0.2 seconds at the end of the dash, and so now it's gone. So once you actually get to your destination, you'll be able to move quickly.
Okay, that's
so
smooth
overall, a
though.
little bit
That's
quicker
cool.
to travel and a little bit quicker to regain control of your character when you actually finish the travel.
So some love to Hunters and Guardians so far.
And one important note for Death Draws Nigh is it still caps to the same maximum. So I believe before you would get 6 stacks. I might be wrong there.
Okay.
But you still get the same amount of stacks. It's not like you get to decrease all yours down to 10 and get extra stacks of this penetration.
Gotcha.
At least the
okay,
Hui
just
buffs are
be more
warranted
effective.
because he was really
Next
underperforming
up is
statistically.
Jormungandr.
Like,
He's
really.
also going to get a bit of love this week. Basic attacks. We've increased the basic attack damage from 9.6 to plus 0.64 per level will now be 11.2 plus 0.96 per level.
Ooh, that's a
Venomous
lot.
Haze, consuming clouds with abilities, now lowers the cloud duration to 8 seconds instead of 5 seconds. And Consuming Bellow, remove damage mitigations while channeling this
slow.
ability. Oh, this ability no longer goes on cooldown if interrupted. So that's the
Yes.
trade-off there. So
That is
to
the
speak.
trade.
So he's basically overall, I guess, Yorm's a little bit weaker
That's
than you
actually a
intended,
red
like we
complaint.
intended overall.
Somebody said,
He
why
really
does
had
it
a
go on
really big
cooldown?
impact, but as
And who
players
wants
kind of got
mitigations
familiar with him and
anyways?
counterplaying him, we
That's
saw
what
that
you
not
get, I
only was
guess.
he not performing the best, but he also wasn't. A lot of community felt like he wasn't really bringing as much to the table as he needed to, and so we decided to focus on his basic attacks and Venomous Haze, largely cleaning that up, so make it so that you have extra pushing and extra boxing power, especially early on. We
I
saw
like
an
the
internal
mitigation.
test, especially before his release, where changing
Oh,
the
well.
value on his basic attack had a really big impact. So this should help him feel more impactful. And then the final change to Consuming Bellow is it's really about consistency, where if you gain a benefit from an ability,
I feel like
if
the
it gets
basic attack
interrupted,
damage
you
is a
lose
lot
that
with how
ability cooldown.
very quickly it takes.
When we added
be a
this
lot of
functionality,
damage.
it created like a weird situation where you often felt like this wasn't a big enough benefit for me to have to feel like I lose my ability cooldown if I get interrupted. And so we've removed that functionality so that you you don't get the protections anymore, but that also means that if you get interrupted, you can just refire the ability. And there were a few cases where this is inconsistent in other places, and we're going to look at those cases and see what we can do there to make sure that the game overall functions in a consistent way.
Gotcha. I was going to bring that up because I know we've got a few variant situations like that. So overall, what you need to know about Yomi's a little bit more damage in the early game, so to speak, but at the same time, Consuming Bellows will not be consumed if it gets cancelled out, but you won't get mitigations during it, which I can kind of understand because you can keep getting it cancelled, then you get infinite mitigations, but temporarily. King Arthur is the last one on the list this week. Okay.
This is a lot.
You need to go through this with me because when I read this at first, I was like, wait, we just buffed him. But we didn't.
No, we didn't buff him.
I was really scared it was a buff, boys and girls. Explain what's going on with Arthur.
All right.
Okay, so the big change is twofold. One is you can bead his ultimate, but largely beading doesn't feel worthwhile because the majority of the damage is on that final smash down. It's not on the slashes that occur before.
Yes. Right.
Yes,
So we're shifting the damage to the slashes a bit more, so that if you do beads, it's a bit more effective. Your beads is essentially mitigating more damage than it was before.
Right.
Good. I don't know what they were thinking with that.
The true damage component
So
of this
very
is
good
now
change.
being changed to physical damage.
Okay.
So
he's not got true damage anymore.
It's not true damage anymore. It still affects your max health, but it works off your physical damage, so it can be
That's
mitigated.
big.
Right.
And what this means is, in a lot of cases, even with like a relatively squishy character, you're going to be doing significantly less because you're not dealing true damage.
I was wondering why it was always like true damage to begin with.
This ability is doing significantly less than it would be with true damage. So we've had to change some of the numbers. We had to increase them in certain places so they still feel impactful and appropriate. And so it looks like numbers have gone up.
They have.
Overall damage is down.
Because true damage versus physical
I
damage.
think even in most cases, if you have only like 20 physical protections, you're still taking less damage from this ability.
And you will
I'll
always
show you
have
the
more
numbers
because
now.
it scales
First of all,
up.
Excalibur's Wrath increase per slash damage from 10 to 50 will now be 10 to 70. Increase per slash true damage from 1.5% to 2%. So the slashes have true damage.
They had true damage, and they don't anymore.
They don't anymore. Okay, that's why I'm so confused by this. Decreased final hit damage AoE from 60 to 360 will now be 50 to 290. The final hit and AoE true damage now deals physical damage. Overall damage changed. That's what we're going for here.
Yes.
Overall damage change from 120 to 660 is now good. Plus 14 to 22% of your HP true damage is now going to be 110 to 700. And that'll be 17 to 25% of your HP physical damage.
That's way less. It's way less.
Yes.
So numbers are higher.
Unless
but
you have
damage should go down
100%
overall.
pen,
If you
which
beat early, you will take
solo
less
Arthur will
damage.
never have,
Yeah, if you
and
beat
Dragon
early, you'll
Arthur
take
will
less
hardly
damage,
have.
and when you're hit by this ability, it will just generally do less. Especially like solo lane warriors generally have enough prots. They build a warrior's blessing that's already mitigating some damage from this ability, and now you have also extra
Way
protections
less.
on top of that. In almost all cases, except for like maybe if you were lowered to 0 and it was like the first rank of the ult, you would take a little bit more damage, but that's a very rare scenario.
Now, I know this is the last one on the balance list this week with King Arthur, but at the same time, Pon, like, King Arthur's been one that's been around for a while, and people have been frustrated with him before. Is he still being monitored closely in case this is not going to be enough?
Yeah, of course. We're watching him really closely. He's had an interesting trend as players have learned him overall. And
I think
really
it's a fair
gotten
nerf,
comfortable
actually.
using his abilities and using his
The true
combos.
damage was
And so
off.
when he started out weak, and perception was generally that he was weak, he kind of spiked up, and then some people were like, okay, is he still good or bad? And then we saw SPL
I was kind
play
of
with
shocked,
people just
actually. I
crushing.
asked on Twitter initially
The 4v1 is, I think, the video
if that was supposed to be true.
And so now everyone recognizes, oh yeah, if you're good with this character, he's really good. And so we're going to watch him really closely. We're going to make targeted changes to make sure the feel of Arthur's still intact,
Cool.
to make sure that he's not too oppressive to fight against.
All right, well, that's it for the balance section. We've got plenty more to show you today, and I'll be back on the desk later on. But for now, let's head over to Ryan to bring down some Mount Olympus.
Thank you
Very
very much,
nice.
Pon Pon Hindu, I guess. You too. Before we move on to talk about the new event in Smite, I do want to bring it back to
is
Smite
Acromore
Blitz for
quiet
just
again?
1 second, because as we kind of teased,
I
there
know.
were going to be some Smite skin promotions going on, so we want to show
Yes.
those to you guys really quickly. First thing is the Blitz Athena skin, and of course we have the Trickster Loki as well. This one, the representation of Loki in Smite Blitz. There'll be more details coming out soon about how you'll be able to get these skins, but it won't be until closer to the action. It won't be until the game fully releases. So not right away. Don't have to worry about it, but just stay tuned. Make sure you're getting all involved with Smite Blitz now, so it's nice and easy.
But
to
there's
get your
no
skins
jungle
later on.
changes?
That's my advice to you. Okay,
Oh.
as I mentioned, we've got a new event coming
Oh.
to Smite, and for that, I've got a couple people
Just
here
nerfs.
joining me on the
Just
casual
nerfs
set.
all
We
the
got
time.
Tina, we got Chris, we've got AJ as well. Guys, welcome in and talk to me about this new event, Battle for Olympus.
So we'll start off with the lore, just to get an idea of where we are.
Sure.
We recently had the Council of the Gods event, where Hera was trying to get the gods to agree to some terms and some rules so that they didn't just wipe out humans and this themselves. But that didn't really work. Gods are fickle and petty, and they are selfish in many cases. They want to fight. They want to be the strongest. They don't want to share. So things have devolved into a battle, and now as we move on into the story, the Battle for Olympus event is going to be following around the gods in an all-out war against each other. Some of them banding together, some of them going rogue on their own, but really all just battling it out to see who will rule the rest of the gods.
Sounds awesome to me. This event is going to be structured very similarly to the Divine Uprising event that we did pretty recently. So 3 themed chapters that have a corresponding chest that will contain 6 items. If you unlock all 6 items in the chapter, you earn an exclusive reward skin for free, and unlock all 6 items from each of the 3 chapters, that's 18 in total, to earn an unlimited tier 5 skin. So these skins that we're doing in this event, the Divine Uprising was an event that went pretty well for us last time around, and people seem to like it as well.
Yeah, this is very similar structure to Divine Uprising, so if you participated last year, you should figure this out pretty quickly this year. There's going to be 3 main sections divided into the 3 major god launches during the event, like we did last year.
Yeah. Sure.
Last year it was Voodoo, Polynesian, and Slavic.
Yeah.
This year it is Horus and Set, and then our new Pantheon god coming afterwards. So
We're still going with new Pantheon god.
I don't think we're not saying anything yet.
Under wraps. Okay.
I freaking god.
All right.
So the first section is going to be Set
themed,
theme, right?
Yes,
Right,
it's
Tina?
going to be Set chapter.
Yeah.
Nice. I might just do the first one.
Unlocking all
Maybe.
6 in this usurper chest grants you the Unichrome Set skin
Yeah.
for free, and I see here
Yes,
the next
look right there.
dude. That is sweet.
That is
Beautiful.
What?
Yeah.
Kind of a new
Very
take on a
colorful.
sci-fi.
This is
Skin,
the Unicorn
but with very
race game.
different
What was it
color
called?
palette
Super
and
Unicorn?
metallic
Zombie
materials.
Unicorn
And he's a
Dash?
unicorn.
What?
Does have a horn.
At the
Robot
same time.
Unicorn
Well,
Dash?
Set is an ambiguous, mammal creature, which is
Sure.
really cool.
League of
for
Legends had a skin
potentially
like
can
that.
kinda push him in different directions to fit towards all those different animals that he kind of looks like.
Oh,
Awesome.
no way.
Dude, that is really great. And then we also have a tier 5 skin coming up as well. That this is the reward for all 3 of those chapters. You get everything involved in those. A new KUKULKAN skin
Okay.
as well.
Not
We have a
interested.
Tier
image for
5
it.
cuckoo.
Oh yeah, that's what we like to see. So this is the
Ooh.
new
What's going on
KUKULKAN
here?
is an almighty plane shifter that takes on a new form with each plane of existence that he shifts to. There are 3 key planes that exist in everything: life, void, and divinity, or heavenly.
Okay, it looks
So
cool, but I'm
you
not
get
gonna
to
get it.
channel powers from all 3 of those planes.
Because I'm never going to play KUKULKAN.
I'm sold. There you go.
Yeah, it's
Good
kind
enough
of
for
a
me.
cosmic philosophical theme. We wanted to do something different for this, so it's got some things reminiscent of things you might have thought before. So the void and the heavenly themes,
Sure.
but then he also has his life theme. So just you think about our universe. How you have like creation and heaven and cosmos and the sun and things like that.
Right.
Warmth and light, and then you have the empty, infinite darkness. And then somewhere in the middle you have Earth. Just for
Here we
some
are.
reason, somehow we're all alive here.
It's
and
us.
making
The
gods and all sorts of beautiful art and gameplay and cool stuff. And this KUKULKAN skin kind of encompasses that whole concept of life. Like, it's a really interesting
Yeah.
theme. Artistically, how do you feel about it, Chris?
I think it's going to be really cool. The concepts we've got so far have been coming along really nicely. We iterate on them, every week as far as feedback between the teams.
We had so many versions of this
Oh
one in
man,
development,
yeah,
right?
it was crazy.
Picking the final one was hard.
It was
I bet.
hard.
But it's looking really good. I'm really excited for it.
So if you complete the entire event, all 3 sections, you'll get the tier 5 KUKULKAN skin.
And you get to be in all 3 planes of existence whenever
we're
you
gonna
channel
have
that power.
the VXG again, right, where you can switch.
Yeah, we're still
Ooh.
looking at the switching, but he'll probably switch as he fires his ultimate, but then we'll also probably include a manual way for you to change as you'd like.
It'd be really
Super cool.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
I'm just
new
going to
tech
stay
for
in
sure.
one form.
Some great spoilers
Always
right
new
away.
tech with a new tier 5 right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
always has to. All right, so let's get started in some of the skins that are coming up in this update show. Though we want to talk about ones that are coming in the future, and we'll start with this Illuminator Baron Samdi, one that I saw a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
people get really excited
This
about.
one
for
looks
good
Got a
so
reason.
huge
cool.
social media response once it was posted.
Yeah,
It looks so good.
Beautiful card art.
That's
I get that. I
Beautiful
really
model.
like this one.
Yes,
And it's direct purchase as well.
Just gorgeous.
Nice.
He lives in the same world as the other infinite skins.
Yeah.
Wait,
and
unless
is
it's
a
not for that.
worshipper, scribe,
I hope it
or
is. I hope it's direct
illuminator,
purchase.
which is where he gets his name.
Right, the Illuminators are kind of the people who would be the record keepers, the
Yes.
reporters, the ones who would create the temples and the scrolls and the scripts.
I'm telling you
Gotcha.
guys, he
for
doesn't
the
need a tier
infinite
5. He has
type
such good
characters.
skins.
So we're
Like,
we think about our skins and different alternate universes
Such
and
good
trying to think of
skins.
other types of characters that would live in those universes. 'Cause this is kind of where we ended up. So it's kind of similar in a few ways to the infinite skins, but it's a very different theme altogether.
It looks great in game. I love the moving. Is that ink that's supposed to be on his back?
Yes. And you're going to see that through the abilities is us trying to play with that inky type of effects.
Okay.
And that was one of the key excitement factors. That
Oh,
goes
look at the
into this,
the glow effect.
Look at the
Ooh,
targeter.
I
Even the
know.
targeter is sweet.
Yeah, the
Right.
effects team killed it on this one. All of their stuff looks really good.
Yeah. It.
Hey, where's the skull?
Oh yeah, the little splashes on them as
Oh,
well with the
the
auto
different
attacks.
Kind
particles.
of like starry and wispy.
Oh, no skull yet.
Very
Huh.
colorful.
Yeah, when you get the targeters looking that colorful, we're in for a good spot. Consigned
Whoa,
spirits
this looks cool. I like this.
looking amazing
I like this.
as you would expect. Let's see, wrap it up. Ooh, he's got a little
Cosmic snake.
cosmic snake. Yeah. I was gonna say like ghostly snake, but it's colorful ghost, so that means it's cosmic.
Yeah,
That's-
he's not a ghost.
no, that's how that works.
He's in another plane of existence. He's not dead. Aggro.
Right, of
obviously.
course.
Whoa,
Oh, this is
how
so
does the
cool.
coffin look?
Look at the colors.
I
Oh,
like
yeah,
this.
His coffin is actually pictured in his card art behind him. It kind of looks like a
Like a celestial cathedral.
yeah, like a cathedral or like a I don't know. I'm struggling for words.
Yeah, I don't know if we can slow down and like zoom in
Celestial
on that
Notre
coffin, but
Dame?
It's really cool. They put a lot
Too
of
early?
detail into it from the modeling side.
Pond can do
You
anything.
can use it with.
Well, I was about to say the same thing, Tina, and then I look over and I
can
see
see it
Pond
in-
behind the camera, and I'm thinking, oh no,
Oh no,
Pond's not back
Pond,
there.
Who is it?
Clumsy's driving, and he's.
Oh,
can do
Clumsy's got.
anything.
Clumsy's a very
Very familiar
capable
Clumsy
man.
can do anything.
That's right.
You
Look
can
at
also
this.
see it from the taunting.
Ooh, wow, that looks so awesome.
Whoa!
I want to go in
Show
that
us the front
coffin. It
door.
looks so
Go, keep
cool.
going
I
around.
want to go in.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tina, you want to go in? This is
Yeah,
why you're
suck
getting.
me in, suck me
This is
in.
why you're getting to the 1 through 10 out of 100 in your SMITE skillometer. She's running on her own into
Oh my
Baron
God,
Coffin because
take
it looks
me,
so cool.
take me.
Just hey, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do the get down, Mr. President.
You
sort
can
of.
do that, actually. You're right.
Yeah, that's the right way to do it.
Well-
Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Illuminator Baron Somdi.
Stop right there. That expression. I must capture it. I see all. I see that I am the greatest. Attack! Defend!
I love it.
Attack the Titan! I don't paint portraits. Every time I create one, I lose a friend.
This is so good. It catches Somebody's vibe.
Absolutely love it.
By
Illuminator
something
Baron
different.
Nice
Somdi.
bit of style to that voice pack.
Yeah,
I like
it.
it.
That is
I like
so
it too.
cool.
All right, next up, Helheim.
I love
is the
everything
next
about that
one
skin.
on our list. This one also.
haven't
I
liked
think
voice
should be
packs in
getting
a while.
people
That
pretty
one is
excited.
fantastic.
Just a very
Wow.
different feel for Uller this time.
I'm actually impressed.
Yeah, I mean, when we were
I'm actually
initially,
impressed.
discussing this one, I think actually,
I was
Kyra's
not
Chris
expecting
stopped by
such a
for
good voice
for a
pack.
skin brainstorming meeting, which he doesn't always do, and we were kind of talking about this Norse underworld and the concept of Norse warriors.
very cool. I
When they
just
die
don't
in
really
battle,
play
they
all
go
that.
to Valhalla, but if they die from disease or old age or something like that, they go to Helheim. In
We don't like
Norse.
that one as much.
So this is kind of taken as the idea as if Uller, the glorious one, as if maybe he fell victim to a plague and did not get that glorious death that he desired and ended up in this kind of dark twist where he's trapped in the
For
underworld.
glory. Oh no, I didn't get it.
So then why is he a deer?
I mean, because skulls are underworldly and cool looking, so
Yeah, and the horns are cool, Tina. What do you want?
he's
from
a
us? I
hunter
mean,
god, so
I guess,
he's
yeah.
a nature, kind of a nature god in some ways.
I love these skins that
I
kind
wanna
of
turn off the audio, but
into
it's
the
so mixed
lore
between
of the
them.
gods and just kind of give an alternative view of what could have been.
Yeah, come on,
potentially.
Uller has some foresty vibes going through his initial lord.
That's
You're not wearing
true,
a
that's
cloak. You're not wearing a
true.
cloak going to Target. You're wearing a cloak to go hunting in the woods. You know?
Exactly.
You don't
So-
need
Yo, I'm
that.
just playing devil's advocate, okay?
Hey.
That's all I'm doing.
Fair enough, I suppose. He definitely has more ghostly arrows,
Yeah, for sure.
and
Well,
the
he looks
purple
just
and green.
really cool,
Yeah,
which is the most important thing.
always.
He does look really cool.
I think his ability animations,
Purple
you
and
can't do
green
much about
effects
that.
together
Like-
are perfect for not only he's kind of dead, but they also work really well together. You know what I mean? And the spectral aspect of these.
Yes.
Wait, does he have
looks very
dead
cool.
arms too? Is he like actual skeleton?
Sounds like
I
it's
think he's mostly
one
armored,
is more
or you
quiet, but I'm
cannot
not
see
sure.
his face or skin.
Oh, okay.
His head is definitely.
But he's not
dead.
like zombified or falling apart. He's very strong. He's just taken on his like undead form.
And yeah, Chris, I think the thing that stands out to me is like Uller's one of the more visceral characters. Like he shoots bows and throws axes, and those are all very physical things. So to transform them into these, the different style must have been a little bit more difficult than a traditional skin in my mind.
Yeah,
I don't know,
mean,
I'd
think
still,
the
like, play,
effects team
like,
did a good job of like
a
picking
lot
out
of
a color palette that would
all
really
the
work
skins
for
over this, I think.
Sometimes they work with the concept team to come up with colors.
not
and
bad,
styles
it's just not-
all on their own. but
Wow.
I think they definitely did a good job on it.
Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Helheim Uller.
I'm ready for battle. Are you? I have long awaited a fight like this. Do not disappoint me. I am Death's champion. Attack! Defend! You can't eat turkey or potatoes without some good gravy.
What?
I think it's a grave joke.
Oh.
I'm there now.
They
I
should have
mean,
said grave.
It's just a good line, though. on
I
its
was really
own.
worried he's gonna say you can't have good turkey or potatoes in Helheim, and I was
just
like,
can't.
wow, that is so sad.
No,
Like,
you
pour-
can't. It's not
pour one
allowed.
out for Uller.
You don't know that part of Norse mythology?
I don't. You know,
Come on.
they take you off potatoes, and I'm like, wow, that really is the darkest
Main
timeline.
staple.
Both Illuminator Baron Samedi and Helheim Uller will be going live with this update. We're shooting for April 30th, so as soon as that
I
update
really
goes
want that
live, you should
zombie
have
skin.
those available to you. One that you will have to wait a little bit longer for, but for good reason. Well, maybe it'll be worth it. It's Pop Punk Hell. This one.
I
one
really
that
like this one as well.
I
saw the
immediately
tease.
love.
Oh,
And I told
Pop
F-Dot
Punk
about this.
Hell.
I said, Tom, did you hear about that there's a Hell skin and it says, Hell is a pop star and a punk rocker. And he was immediately really excited. Tom is always only a punk rocker.
Right, I was going to say, he's probably more interested in this stance.
Yes.
Yes.
The darker stance. The microphone is sweet.
Yeah, I want to point
I
out.
really
that,
like this
that
idea.
Required a whole new animation override for basically everything from both the anim team and tech art side. So
Can't just have her hands like floating there doing nothing if
Yeah.
she's supposed to be holding the microphone in this one. This is such a cool concept. I
Kind of
don't
a
know.
new take on music skins. We haven't done anything quite like this in a while.
Yeah.
It just
really
fits
excited
so
to
well.
see all of it.
Such a nice idea.
Dude, that.
It's got
Bass.
some
Yeah.
serious bass on just the auto attacks here in the punk rock stance.
There's that sliding
Ooh.
circle targeter that we just added to some more gods.
Oh yeah, got a
I don't get why
Scylla,
the-
Bastet,
Nice.
and KUKULKAN.
Wait,
on
that's
that
the
list
rock
now as well.
sounds. That's not very
Got some
rocky.
cool tunes. You're gonna be like spinning a. It's gonna be like a real song when you're
Yeah,
playing
a bit
Hell.
of
You got so
melody
many.
in each of the effects.
Yeah, like you got plenty of abilities being thrown out all the time on Hell.
Should have done that like actual rock sounds instead of like
That's
electronic
great.
sounds, but I want.
Yeah, that is perfect.
really love the little music notes floating up around
Yeah,
her too.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even notice that. You're right.
All right,
Here she is in pop
let's take it
stance.
to the bright side.
Here's an encore.
She sounds much nicer.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the crowd cheers if you cleanse someone. That's awesome.
An encore.
That's how you feel when you get hell cleansed.
That's
you
right.
know?
You're like, oh yes, this is great. You get even more cheers whenever you heal your team. How come there's not fans for the punk rocker, man? I feel kind of bad for her now. Maybe she's evil because she doesn't have as many
Because
fans.
punk
to her.
rockers usually don't have that many
She's
fans.
just underground and she has like a smaller audience.
It's cooler.
Yeah.
Because she's punk doesn't mean she's evil.
Well, she seems a little not nice. AJ.
I wonder how many
You know her.
how many
guess-
Afro mains are gonna
Maybe
switch
I'm-
because of
maybe
the
I'm being a
skin.
little too
Plenty of
judgmental.
the
Ones that
heavy metal
played
rockers
Diva
are some
Afro
of the
before.
nicest people you'll meet.
That's true.
Gotta
So
play
I
Helena
took
with
a
this skin.
voice lines out of her change stance because a lot of people like hate that.
Oh, when,
So
when they're
now
always changing all the time.
Yeah, you know how it's like I'm here or I'm back.
We also
Right.
decrease the chances for it to play. So you're saying the chances are even a little lower on the skin?
No, she doesn't say shit.
Oh, she says no.
She just, no, watch.
Well, she doesn't
That's
say
good
that.
she doesn't say that.
So
yeah.
this is the first hell skin with no voice
So if you
line on
listen,
the ultimate.
when she changes, it's just riffs or like music.
Okay, it's music instead of voice.
I like that.
lines.
Yeah.
That's
I
cool.
like that,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's a nice little touch. Let the music take over
we got?
for you.
Oh, we have a VXG as well.
I was about to say we have a VXG for this one.
Or 2 VXGs.
Oh, the
was-
fans loving it. And she started. Oh, okay. So music plays. You're right. This is a lot kind of like our other music skins, but a totally different take on it. Ooh,
No, I
kind of a bop going on.
Yeah.
Now, one thing to note is you have a different BXG in your dark stance.
Oh,
No way.
do it, do it.
Wow, she's really performing though. She's
You can tell she's really
moving
singing,
her mouth.
She's singing. Yeah, definitely not lip syncing here.
like the average pop star.
Nice.
Oh, that is so
Nice.
cool.
This is what I came for.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna use this one when I'm like really ahead and like feeling good about myself, and then when I'm
Dude.
losing, I'll switch to the other one and
She's
just be like,
riding an invisible motorcycle.
I don't think that's what the animation team is going
It's
for.
amazing. It's amazing.
But it's, as always, art is open to interpretation.
Yes, like move. If you start moving, oh, she's riding an invisible motorcycle.
sure.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
That's probably the
if
intent.
our players can get as excited about this skin as Tina is, then we'll be in good shape.
Yeah, we'll be in great shape. Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Pop Punk Hell.
You don't like these riffs? Well, I don't like you. I'm not just a rock star. I'm a force of nature. Rock on! I'm sure as hell gonna kick some ass tonight. Hey there you are. Hey there.
Hey.
Attack! Defend! You're such a star. What has 3 legs and a head on top?
Doesn't work yet.
A drummer's stool.
Looks like we got the jokes and taunts. Gonna have to take a check up on those, Chris.
We'll get it all smoothed out, of course.
BTS ain't even live
that's
yet.
right. That's right. This is
Stream.
still a little bit beforehand. Again, that's
Classic
Pop
New
Punk
Hell
Hell. This one will be available the week of May 13th, as well as this
I like
next
that.
skin, which is Marrow Eater Fenrir. One that sounds, just the name of it is very intimidating. I'm very intimidated because I don't want him to eat my marrow.
We have a
No,
lot
you
of
need
skull
that.
faces
Yeah,
this year.
that's in my bones.
I like these
Patch,
skins.
not
I like this
here.
type of skins.
Yeah.
Oh, there they are.
Oh,
the
that is
tentacles.
sweet. Wait, what is the? What's going on with those? What is that?
Feelers, dude. That's what
Are
they
you
are.
gonna say what are those?
Yeah, that's a brand new setup that we had to try for this guy that we haven't done before on Fenrir, and we're using some little tricks in the materials. It's actually using the same material that his arms get when they're buffed. But yeah,
Okay.
using that, we were able to get all of these tendrils on.
I was
his back
wondering how they got
without
the extra
increasing
animation
his
on.
performance costs that much. So
Oh.
I'm
Man.
excited by that.
There are some intense horns as
Interesting.
well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's got lots of extras going on this skin. Who was like, yo, you know what Fenrir's missing on his next skin? Like tendrils.
I'm not even sure if the tendrils add anything.
It looks
though, if
really
better
good. I
without
just
it.
never would. I would never have come up with that.
It's kind
They
of gives you
disappear
some
when he
of his
jumps?
effects.
Yeah.
We were kind of trying to really play up this shadowy effect. And what that we felt like the visuals on his skin would help that. His model would
Sure.
help that to have some different shapes and some different parts of his body that kind of faded away from him, and that's where we kind of ended up with the tendrils. Like, it started as a kind of more of a pitch
Oh,
of like
wow, I like the
energy, kind
animation.
of aura around him, but then
Of
we
the
wanted to
two.
actually make this
That's
part of the
cool.
skin's model and
Much
make it a little more
more-
tangible.
Yeah.
So
well,
now you have that visual element on the model that kind of gives you an idea of how the effects and the whole overall tone is going to look.
I was gonna say it's disappearing, right? Yeah.
the buff state on his his arms, the glowing like white is very cool.
He drools blackness too.
Oh, that's kind of gross, and I like it. It fits well.
No, it's actually really scary looking.
We don't like that part of it, but we do. That's the point of this whole thing. And then of course he'll get the big tentacles whenever he transforms. Yeah.
Whoa, big boy.
Yeah. Dude, his
big
horns.
horns.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna
He
say
looks even
those
bigger
things
than
are
usual.
massive. They
Got
really
so much stuff going on.
So did he get the plague too?
Yeah.
No.
Maybe
He's in a different universe than Helheim Uller.
He looks
okay.
similar.
I was gonna
though.
say maybe he
So-
bit Helheim Uller, and that's what gave him his disease. That was my.
I like that spin on it.
Yeah.
But wouldn't dying to a godlike shadow wolf creature give you a glorious death in Norse
No,
mythology?
because the doctor prescribed him antibiotics. He just didn't take them properly, and that's why he
Yeah.
died.
Well, that counts as
that's
an unglorious death. That's for sure.
That is definitely unglorious, for sure. Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Marrow Eater Fenrir.
If you can see me, then it's already too late.
That's a loud voice pack.
Embrace your end, for it is coming soon. Attack! Defend! In this case, you should
I just realized you can see
be
his
scared
spine.
of your own shadow.
Oh, this got grosser than I realized. Oh god, I just realized it's like his back is ripped open with the tentacle. Oh,
Great
my
job on
God.
the voice
I
pack.
love
Yeah,
that voice
very
pack.
intense.
Oh,
I didn't even
man.
realize
Effects and
that.
acting
Really
really work
intense.
together there in a
Beautiful.
fantastic way.
Beautifully done.
played
I like that
that
skin, but it's also
yesterday, and
gross.
that was-
Tina
Horus
is
boots?
our local Fenrir main in the playtest room.
Really? You?
Well, when I jungle, right, Pawn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a top tier jungler with that Fenrir.
Okay. All right. I always knew Tina as the Medusa main, but
I play Medusa, but I haven't been able to play Hunter a lot lately in
um,
playtests, so
unlucky.
I played jungle instead.
Again, May 13th for that skin as well, the same time as that Pop Punk Hell. Also, do want to mention when it comes to this new event, all of the chests will only contain skins, and it will be equal chances for all of those. So we've heard you guys in the community that these are things that you want as part of our event. So again, for this Battle of the Gods, I believe, is what it's
Battle
called.
for Olympus.
Battle for Olympus. Thank you, AJ. Battle for Olympus event. All of the chests will only contain skins, no filler content, and all of the skins will have an equal chance. So we hope you guys enjoy
direct
that.
And
purchase
you can direct
options.
purchase them
Yep.
for 750 gems.
Oh,
Direct
okay.
purchase options as well if you get to the event a little late and the chests have grown.
Beautiful.
The Battle for Olympus, by the end of the event, we will have a new ruler of Olympus.
Ooh.
Who will it be?
Who will it be?
Who will it be? It
Find
could
out
be
next time.
That's right. It could
On
be
Patch Notes.
Set or Horus because they're in the game. They're coming up right now,
And now we need to show them.
and now we need to show them. We'll be right
Yes,
back with our
let's
reveal
go.
of Set.
Yay!
Oh, we've seen this. I'm gonna do a quick audio adjustment after this trailer again, just to make sure we have it all down. We can already see some abilities here, by the way. Like the sand clones here. You have the AoE basic on Horus, I think, with the wings. I'm also not sure if this like swirling attack is like a Talua Cell style attack. Possibly. Or if it's just for animations. And his Berserk form. And I don't know if that leap is legit. Or just for cold style.
So sweet. So awesome. I get so amped every time I see it. And it's time, you don't have to wait any longer, to talk about Set, one of the two gods joining us here in Smite after this update. And to do it, I've got AJ still here, but also
audio
have Pon
looks
and
good, I
Ryan
think.
joining us for the first time, a programmer that worked on Set. And what is Set's big hook? Talk to me about what Set
think we're
does.
good.
So Set is really focused on the kind of like
Except-
aggressive nature that he has. He's the god of chaos. He's the god
Pon is
of
way more quiet.
storms, which are naturally chaotic. He's the usurper. He kills Osiris because he's strong. He should lead. And so through his kit, he gets to summon basically. He doesn't trust anyone else, so he only trusts himself. And through that, he creates these spawns of himself that are sand-like, and he gets to control them in different ways and kind of unique ways. So.
So we
That's
saw a little
generally
bit of
his
that, yeah, in the trailer there. Some
And
some
his
sand
kit will
clone
have
action.
multiple interactions with
Yeah.
those sand versions of Set.
Cool. Let's take a look at
Spawn of Set, as we're
the
calling
card art real quick, so we can see exactly what Set's gonna look like, and that is awesome.
He's so dope.
He's so cool looking, man. And you know what? A lot of people, when we were first talking about Horus and Set, they were like, "Well, are we a little worried that he's gonna look too much like Anubis or anything like that?" Because they're kind of similar.
It's a fantastic point, and it's a large reason why it took us a while to want to put these gods in the game.
Yeah.
But you know, when we were revisiting the list of gods, we had a couple. We always try to mix it up, right? We want a couple surprises, and we want a couple of things the community's been asking for. These two were just the obvious choice the community's been asking for, along with Jormungandr. And once we really set ourselves to make these gods happen,
Sure.
the art team had no problem making sure they felt unique and different and interesting. And you'll see
Yeah.
multiple ways as we get through their animation set and their kit set that we were able to push
The
these
set.
gods further away from their Egyptian counterparts to make them look really good.
It's going to be so much fun to have both of these gods in the game at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the
Yes.
thing that I think I'm the most
First
excited about.
double release.
It's crazy that we're in season 6 and this is the first time that it's
It
happened.
was really hard.
It was.
So
it
that's
was
why.
challenging.
Yeah, I feel like every time I saw Pon, he was just like staring at his computer with like dead
Pon
eyes.
did design both of these gods simultaneously
Yes.
too, by the way.
There's a
Why?
lot that went into that. Everyone on the team was super like we had a whole bunch of different strategies for how we were going to do this. A lot of work went into them. And
Shout outs to
super
Clumsy who
exciting.
did Merlin and Yorm
Yeah.
back to back as well, which we generally don't do to pave the way
Sure.
for Pon to do
I
this,
got-
which was also difficult for him.
Yeah.
But you know, you guys have been killing it. So
Why do you split it
see some
differently?
abilities.
Let's see
go.
it. Let's get it started
Let's
here
go.
with Set. Again, an assassin that is all about
let's go.
using his own power and his own clones to get the job done.
own power,
and a
his
very
own clones.
assassin-like run, I might add.
Wait,
right
that
off
was
the
a
bat.
special swing.
But
Yeah.
his stance was a
Yeah.
big part of helping him
Well,
stand
sand
out
damage though.
amongst the roster.
Well, he takes
Those
faster and
auto
faster and
attacks are
faster.
very cool. But
Yep.
let's start with the passive because it's kind of right in front of us here.
Yep.
What's going on? It seems like it's stacking with auto attacks.
Yep. So his passive is called Relentless, and every time Set damages an enemy, and he has multiple ways to actually
Attack speed
damage
increases.
very quickly. He gets a stack of Relentless, which increases attack speed. Each stack is 2.5%, so you can get 25% total. And you might be able to break that a little bit more later on in the kit.
Okay.
And there's a fun flavor thing that we did. Horus's passive will have this as well, where if Set damages Horus, he gets 2 stacks.
No way. Somebody
Wow,
predicted
so
it,
that's our
and I
first
said
time
it's
to,
not going to
like,
happen.
Lore.
I said it's not
has
going to happen.
impacted.
Here
It's
I
the
am
first
proven
time the
wrong.
ability references another god by
Shout out to
name.
the guy in
Right.
the comment
Different
section who said
effects
that.
to only one god.
Yep.
There
So
it
we
is.
like that idea, but we didn't want to go too overboard with it. But yeah, he gains stacks twice
I
as
like the
fast
attack
when he's
animation, by the
battling
way.
Horus.
He really doesn't like him that much.
No.
They do not like each other.
Is what you're telling
They
me.
hate each other a lot.
No way, they
Yeah,
went through with
that's,
that.
That
That is
makes
so
some
interesting.
sense. All right,
on
so are we
Twitter?
gonna do the
Oh,
little?
okay.
Are we gonna let it kind of the whole ability go, or whole kit come out, and Clumsy can show it off a little
Yeah,
bit? Or are
let-
we gonna go ability by
So
ability?
yeah, we're gonna show off some
Yeah,
real
go
combat
ham.
here.
All right, Clumsy just gets to show us what's
Alright,
going on.
shadow clones. Oh, you can actually. Somebody else predicted that you can
Ooh,
teleport like
yeah.
Yazoo. No, not Yazoo. No.
Holy!
Somebody from Zed. From LoL.
Wait, that's so cool.
Whoa, what's going on?
This is truly my first time actually seeing Set in action,
This is crazy.
and okay, I'm
Lots of
down.
stuff.
Yeah, lots of stuff
Some
going
cool
on.
stuff.
Here's all I know. I play mid lane and I'm dead if all of that
watch
happens.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch out for that.
Yeah, I'm super dead in that instance. All right, so let's go over the first ability then. This one's called Skewer. It looks pretty simple. It's just a line skill shot, right?
Yeah, it's on its surface, it's relatively simple. It's just a line
That's
skill shot.
very
He kind
basic so
of
far.
conjures the chaotic storm in his hand, throws it forward, and damages enemies. It passes through all targets, and it also slows targets.
Okay.
But it interacts with his spawns a set. So we should probably go to the second ability to kind of really get his whole kit down.
Yeah, I feel like it's all gonna kind of revolve around these sand clones, right? That's
Yeah.
that's a big
As
deal
well as
for
most of
them.
the programming work, right? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a challenge because most of the pets in our game previously have been kind of just like their own thing.
Sure.
But with Set in particular, they're kind of like an extension of himself. And that can be easily seen with the one. We've never really had a separate entity give you a target that lets you like actually, I guess, mess people up.
Yeah.
Shoot skill shots remotely.
Yep.
Yep.
So we've had pets that you kind of deploy and they attack things, or we've had pets like Calder and Nuwa where you just tell them to go there, do that one thing, or Argus. But now we've got a new type of pet, which is kind of somewhere in between with some more abilities.
So can you have multiple clones out at the same time?
Yep. So Set gets 2 charges with this ability.
Okay.
And they have it's always taking a cooldown, so you can kind of cast one out, get another charge, and cast 2. So Set can get a few of these out at any given time, and he can have a maximum of 8 total out at any given time.
Wait, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
How
a
do you
lot.
get that many?
But he's kind of limited by how much he can cast by the amount of charge that he has. And when he deploys these, they will attack anything nearby, but they don't move themselves. They only move when Set commands him with Skewer. So you can see here that line targeter, the circle inside of it is basically aiming where the clones are going to go.
So okay, so you can
I don't get
aim,
how
so
the
you can put them
direction
on
thing
different
works.
sides of people, and they will converge on the same target.
Right, so although
Yeah.
this is a line targeter, it actually has a sliding circle hidden in the middle of it, which interacts with the intersection point. So you can aim it straight forward,
Ah,
but
I
as you
see.
aim
That's
straight
where they
forward and
go.
as you aim forward and back.
Okay,
see,
okay.
Can you put
adjust-
another clone on the left here? I kind of want to see what it looks like when I've got multiple.
Ah,
Okay.
now I
There
get
you
it.
go.
So this is gonna be. I'm guessing is the main damage from his own shot? Is it from his
Wow.
clones?
So the most of the damage comes from his main shot.
Okay.
And then the first clone that hits does a good amount of damage, and then it's 40% for each subsequent clone hit. So you have 8 clones out. Clones 2 through 8 will deal 40% damage.
Okay. All right. Makes sense. All right. Let's go over Sandstorm then.
not
These
bad,
clones
though.
can't be killed either.
Yeah.
So they don't.
Then
It's just
all
duration.
basic attacks and abilities pass right through them. They're effectively untargetable.
Okay.
Oh, that was the
Truly,
2
just
charges of the
floating
2 as
there,
well.
if you will, as a part of the sand. So Sandstorm Set erupts into a
no.
sandstorm, or erupts into a sandstorm
No, no, no,
around
no.
him for 5 seconds, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna try and
Sorry,
avoid it,
sorry.
but I guess it's impossible.
I can't help myself.
Yeah.
It's just the
Everybody
rules
on the dev
sometimes.
team's like, AJ's been doing this for 3 months. Please ship this god.
Yep. And so this ability is kind of cool because it's just, on its surface, it's relatively simple, but it has a few things going for it on its own.
Okay.
One is it's ticking damage, which
Okay.
is really useful for the passive to stack it up and the ultimate when we get to it. It
Oh,
also
that stacks it too. It's not just off autos.
It's not just
Correct.
off autos.
Oh.
Every
Everything.
form of damage, including the clone basic attacks.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Which that was something we also had to actually get working, redirecting pets to basically count as your damage, or your device firing. But also for the 3, you have this extra targeter that you can either bring up on initial cast, or if you use Sandstorm without a target, you can bring it up again. But you can target a clone and immediately teleport to it.
So this
That's
seems to be
interesting.
his only form of mobility in the
Correct.
traditional kit. So you have to be
Cool.
using it, and you need a sand clone to
You can even
to jump
shoot your
to. It's
sand
not
clone
like
somewhere with a 1 and
dodgy
then
where you could
teleport to it.
to a friendly.
Yeah, you must have a clone out.
Okay.
And actually, in a playtest recently, I threw all my clones to be aggressive and sent them out, and then someone jumped me, and I'm like, oh, I'm just dead now.
Yeah.
I don't
so,
have clones to rely on.
Ooh.
so you can go through walls, everything like
It's a
that.
teleport as well.
Yeah.
Not a
Oh wait,
dash.
can you shoot
No.
them with skewer?
Well, you can aim them directly forward, and they'll go also directly forward, effectively giving you a much longer range poke attack.
Ah,
So
okay.
the skewer, the main projectile, will only go so far, but the clone will go even further, so you can effectively hit that. It's even further away.
There's a lot of interesting
Holy,
stuff.
there's
Oh,
gonna
right.
be so much nut stuff.
Sandstorm on its own does do a few other things though. Because you're in a sandstorm, physical attacks are a little
That's
bit
gonna be a lot of
significant, so you
poking
get some
under
physical
tower.
damage reduction, and you're also immune to slows. So
Okay.
you get to just charge at your enemy. And also, enemies that are caught in the sandstorm have a post-process effect. Their vision gets a little bit sandy.
Pseudo blind.
Nice.
Where's
Tom,
F-Dot?
Yeah, where is F-Dot? I was gonna
It's
say.
not
where,
a true blind, but just a bit. Like kind of like when you get hit by MC alt.
Yep. So
Okay.
Or Chernobog alt.
yeah, you get
Okay.
like red
Oh, wow.
sand kind of obscuring your vision. You can still relatively see, but it's there because you are in a sandstorm.
Yeah, you can't be seen in sandstorms, guys. That's how that works.
Shout
All
out
right.
to the effects team for killing it.
Yeah, on the on your own sort of target.
Sandstorm was especially difficult ability to do because
Yeah, there you can see.
Oh,
the-
that's
Oh, that's
Cool.
not too bad.
when you're playing as set, if the sandstorm is too intense, it can be really disruptive to your own gameplay. So making it feel impactful but still keep his visibility clear for his other abilities and make sure everything layers on top of itself well was a big challenge for the effects team, and they came through.
It's also
As they always do.
As they always do.
Yeah.
It's also one of the first abilities in our game that kind of has a conditional start to it, because I can't think of any other ability where you don't necessarily fire the teleport or anything else until after you do something else.
Right. So
Yeah.
you can reactivate the 3 while the sandstorm is going to pull up your targeter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you can just teleport off
I wonder
of
what the
that and then
cooldowns are. It
fire
used
the
to have a really
sandstorm
short cooldown. I doubt it
Gotcha.
still has
Yeah.
that though.
Yeah, very interesting.
You're gonna have a lot of
ability, for sure.
decisions to be making with set.
Would be
That
scary
seems
if
to
it
be
did.
The overall
It definitely
case.
skews a little bit towards the higher skill cap, this character.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm very excited. All right, let's go over the ultimate ability, Kingslayer. What goes on here?
Okay, so there's a few things going on here. So one, set in rages, he kind of goes into his primal form. He is
Oh, no. Come on. We don't need that right now. Please.
embracing his chaos and his anger, and he's going to take it out on whoever's in front of him. He gets increased movement speed, and every attack he does, every time he deals damage to a god, it marks them. At 4 marks, it bursts damage on them. It heals you a little bit, but it also gives you a charge of spawn of set. And if you have both your charges already made, like you could cast 2,
Yeah.
it automatically spawns one for you. And so this is how you get to the situation where you have many, many clones.
So you just
All right.
kind of start going in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
is what
basically
you're
go
telling me.
ham and hope that you kill targets as you're going ham.
It seems like he's
One
gonna
of
be
our first,
hybrid.
if not only, stim ultimates.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is
Why?
kind
Because you want to
of.
have a lot of basic attack.
And his real focus
Speed.
is heavy kit interaction, you know,
And then
interactivity
also ability
between his
damage.
abilities, so
I
we
wonder
really
if the
like
clones
idea
have the
of an
individual
ultimate
crusher
taking
proc.
that kit interactivity and just turning it up even further. So this allows you to get an extra spawn to teleport to when you use the ultimate. If you've already used your charges, it allows you build faster. It lets you get more things for your skewer to target and more directions and more patterns.
Holy! Oh my goodness, that is so nuts.
Wait, he doesn't even have any attack speed items, Aggro.
Yeah, and so the other thing
Oh,
here
you're
is
right.
the passive is now unbounded. You can get up to, technically it's capped at 100 stacks.
Yeah,
But 100
What?
stacks, you've already well past 2.5 attack.
It allows him to go
speed.
to cap attack speed through his passive.
Very quickly,
Very
I
quickly.
imagine.
You also see that he has a completely different
wow,
basic
it's
attack
like a-
animation.
Yeah,
set
he
while he's
loses the
attacking.
weapon.
He loses his weapon, and that's a theme for both of the gods. They can kind of
And lasts
summon
quite long.
and
31
get
stacks.
rid of their
Jeez.
their glaive weapons, their spear weapons.
Yeah, he can go pretty nuts when he gets going.
I can only imagine. Okay, so to talk a little bit about playstyle, do you build a
Archival.
lot of attack speed, or do you not need to because
What
of
if you build a
passive?
So
Archival
it's
and you
been really
overcap?
interesting in tests to
No,
see where
wait, no,
people
Silver
kinda go
Branch.
with. I think the first instinct everyone really has is, okay, we'll go Hasten Katana, go like
I think he's Hasten Katana. Yeah.
yeah, chin size, and then there's other approaches where you do have a relatively low cooldown. Skewer is a low cooldown ability. If you build like a Jotuns with a Crusher to get a little bit of attack speed and pen, you can really actually play a very high harass style where you're throwing out clones, constantly aiming them. To
Yeah, I
harass
think
your
the
opponents,
Crusher
and
shouldn't be
then
understated.
finding opportunities, okay, oh, they used an ability that would normally be dangerous for me to dive in. Now I can go into my ultimate and start going
Wait.
crazy and have the built-in attack speed. So I think
He
there's
has
opportunities
super
to do
low
an attack
CC.
speed build. I think there's an opportunity to do kind of more cooldown-based build. Where you focus more on harassing, and that's really what you'll need to determine when you're playing set is how much do you want to rely on your clones to be your primary damage dealers, or how much do you want to rely on your clones to be enablers.
I just realized he's got a lot of weak points.
Yeah, very interesting build paths to spoil Pawn a little bit. The meta that Pawn has determined already for him is like he's very interesting because I think he plays really well with Katana, but Pawn doesn't think that it's necessarily good for him to rush like most Katana gods.
Yeah,
we've kind of found that he's best if you build him with like Jotun's Crusher first.
Yeah,
sure.
To really capitalize on his ability damage and his combos.
That's what I was thinking.
And then start itemizing into like Katana, like 4th item.
Yeah.
Or some more basic attack
Crusher,
to make sure that his
Katana
endgame
Yeah.
stays as strong and doesn't fall off. It's
I was
a
gonna
really
say
unique
stone cutting
assassin
seems
path.
Silver
like it would
branch.
be great
Yeah.
on this character because it lets you kind of be in the middle of.
And then generally, since he has to be really in on people late game, you know, having a good tanky item, a hybrid item, a Void Shield, or a Masamune can be a good idea as
stone
well.
cutting can be really good against a lot of physical.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that he's a more early game slanted assassin, late game?
I think he actually has kind of like an early game spike in ability,
passive
and then he
broke.
has kind of a mid game where he's figuring himself out and then goes back up in late game once he gets everything online. So he has kind of has a different kind of feel, but he definitely does when you can get in late game, he is very late game.
So you can maybe not Kali-esque, but I'm kind of getting
He's
the same
riskier
sort of feel.
than Kali though, because he
He's
doesn't have
so
a way to
risky.
just prevent death. You know, you
Right.
have to be careful with
His
him.
mobility
Yeah, I would say
takes
he has higher
longer.
damage output potential as
Kinda like
Kali, but
Thor's.
Kali has a lot more safe options, a lot of ways to bring health back quickly. So that's kind of the difference between them.
He looks amazing.
And
I
limited
think he's going to be an
CC.
absolute blast. Is there any? He's obviously a jungler. Do you feel like we could see him in Soul Lane or somewhere else, or do you think really just jungle is where he'll excel?
I think he has some potential for some laning phase, although the clones, like especially when you're trying to wave clear constantly, you can actually run into problems with mana. The clones are they're cheap at 30 mana, but you're spamming them
Oh,
so
yeah, maybe you
often
build
that it can
Transcendence
be
as
a
well
big
for AA
drain.
builds, eh?
In the jungle, you have some ways to recoup that a bit more effectively, so I think he's going to be primarily a jungle. Maybe people will flex him into like lanes, kind of like, you know, like you can Thanatos solo or Thanatos mid for
Sure.
fun. I think kind of like that.
Okay, fair enough. I'll be giving it a shot because I just want to play him. Let's take a listen to the voice pack here for Set.
The sands of time bend to my whim. Kneel, or be crushed beneath inevitability. There is no fun in taking from a weak enemy. Attack! Defend! I am king! I don't like change. You could say I am set in my ways.
Very nice.
Okay.
Also, just as a note,
I like the voice pack.
Set.
It's unique.
We should never name a god Set because Set is a thing used in programming and in language a lot. And the amount of times we've said Set and then someone laughs because we're talking about Set the god.
You guys giggled twice just during my intro, where I said Anim Set
Yeah.
and
Yep.
something else, because we call
happens.
any god's set of animations an Anim Set, or I can't even say the sentence without saying the god's name.
Yeah.
It confused a lot of people, and Ryan even had code he had to write that literally didn't work. Because normally you would put a god name there, but the word set has other programmatic functions.
Yeah, you
that
got
was not working.
You got like reset, asset, just like getters and setters.
Yeah.
You can also pets set. Or
You should
sets
call him
pets.
Seth in general or something.
There's just a lot of
The
different
first
like
god that
pets.
had to be coded differently just because of their name.
I will be honest, when I was doing the skin section earlier and it was the Unichrome set skin, it didn't say set skin. I thought there was a set of items.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, see?
Instead of
It happens.
the
It's like,
god
what if we
skin.
made a god named Null?
Oh god.
Please no. He looks incredible, guys, and super excited to see what Horus has as well. But we're going to take
there's
1
more.
minute to just get ready to show you guys Horus and throw it over to Hindu Man for just a minute.
It's probably going to be a little bit more than a minute. He lied to you.
Alright, I'm definitely excited for Set, but I'm not sure if it's going to be strong.
And we've got some interesting stuff for you.
If
at
he is,
least.
then probably it's
Isaiah,
season
how are you
values.
doing?
I'm doing good. How about you, Andy, man?
Not too bad. We've got Set down so far. I've not had a chance to see the gods yet, so this is my first
They're
look.
insane.
I heard Horus has an insane ultimate,
Yeah.
which I'm a little
You
bit
guys will definitely
concerned
want to stay tuned for that.
about the rims of that. But we're here to give you a
I
couple
hope
of
so too.
updates in a few other things. First of all, Odyssey voting is going on right now. So far, I saw the first round.
Right,
The
yeah.
good news is Neath is dead.
Yeah, Neith got knocked out the first
Good
round.
job.
Good job, community. Neath
What?
down,
Ymir lost against...
Nemesis down against Baron.
Zern lost to Ymir?
Arachne losing to
Wow.
Saul was an upset for me. Ymir beating
Oh, wow.
Kernanos was a real shock.
Right, yeah, I really wanted Kernanos to
Oh,
win, but
wow.
the most interesting was
Chuck?
Athena
You guys
versus
won
Shivalanke.
Chuck?
Athena edged out Shivalanke by
she should.
70 votes.
You won
out of
Chuck?
50,000.
At 50,000,
Yeah.
70? It was
The
like
bottom
close.
right bracket is
Who's
big,
your
but
money
you
on
won
winning?
Chuck?
Baron.
Well, if he
Over
wins
Billy?
now, it's rigged.
Oh my goodness. You set me up.
Rigged.
The script. You write the script though. So
Genius. Only for the SPL.
Chuck?
Not for the patch notes. I should go through that now.
Who
Right?
does
I am not in
that?
charge of this script. Other things to mention as well. Twitch Prime at the moment. You guys at home, if you watch Twitch Prime or use Twitch Prime, get your free Dragon Neath skin.
I guess it's because
Desert
we have
Dragon
two
Neath,
assassins.
she's
with the
available
5 or
until
something.
the 25th, so you've got a little bit less than a week to go in and claim that free skin with Twitch Prime. And when she goes away, we'll have a new skin that pops up, which is the new Gladiator Thor skin.
Oh, that's going to be actually a part of that Twitch Prime?
Yep,
Right,
it's going to be
it
part of
sounds like
Twitch
it's
Prime.
similar to the
Well, that's what we're about to
Barbarian.
go
Like
through
when
now,
you-
because obviously they said a minute. It's going to be a little bit longer because we got a couple of skins to go through real quick as well. They didn't really fit anywhere else.
Right.
The Gladiator Thor skin is one we get to have a little look at the card art and in-game as well for you.
Yeah.
This is going to be part of that, did you
Yep,
say?
part of Twitch Prime. So you'll get this skin as well as 2 or 3 other cosmetic items like an announcer pack, a loading screen, free with Twitch Prime.
Well, he looks brash and
Yeah,
confident
he's just
there.
a brawler. We just wanted to make a super cool Thor skin.
Oh, I like the shoulder
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
it's awesome.
Little wolf on it too.
Definitely
There's
not
a
bad,
nice
but
little
he's
look at it
got a
in-game
lot of good
for
skins, so...
See, they don't put me on the skin section anymore. They use Tina because she
Right.
swears and I
Exactly,
don't. And
yeah.
it works out really well to cover the monotonous drones of waiting to have a little look at it in-game too. But yep, definitely a gladiator feel to that one.
Oh yeah, I love the details on the armor and like the cape and stuff, and that wolf on the shoulder.
So this is actually a free skin, technically.
it's
I
free.
mean, I say it's free, but it's not free because you buy Twitch Prime or you get Twitch Prime
Yeah,
and
which
it's
is like
free.
70 bucks.
Exactly.
Just to be clear, and here's a look at it in-game as well. Pardon you, sorry, is it Clumsy doing
Yeah,
it? Is it
Clumsy,
Is
yeah.
it Clumsy?
Uh huh.
Wow, Clumsy's really gone up in the world.
Twitch Prime is almost free when
Once
you're a
upon a time,
student.
he used to be
When
a
you're not,
camera
it's
from the
not.
SPL, and now he's
Well, that-
designing gods like Yom. And trying to land abilities in Smite. Oh, we hit a double tap.
Oh yeah, double tap. The
Good
wall is
times.
awesome.
Oh, I do like that.
Really
one.
love the effects.
That's right. Spiky wall.
Yes, and we actually updated Thor's ability icons.
I
this
just
patch.
noticed
Yeah.
that as well. So it's a little bit clearer, hopefully, of what you're going to get onto. To be fair, it wasn't too difficult to understand it anyway when you played Thor, but there's a little look at the ult as well with the big old hammer waiting.
Nice.
And it should come with a voice pack too, I believe.
But hammer and the visuals with it, obviously.
Up to the challenge.
It sounds like me a week.
The ult, when
No
you drop
one
it.
has ever defeated me in battle.
That's
and it
distracting.
will stay that way. Attack! Defend! I'm undefeated! Why are you not laughing at my jokes? Are you not entertained?
Kill me. I feel like it's not a good skin unless I get very upset about a pun at some point. But that's a Thor skin. They've
Gotta
also
have
got
a pun,
two other skins to talk
Yep,
about real
that
quick.
Thor skin will be available on April 25th for you guys.
So this one is going to be Fabled Artio. What's this skin?
Oh yeah, we teased this on social media. So
wow.
this is kind
Oh,
of like
this is
our take
cool.
on like Little Red Riding Hood. So Ario's
is-
going through the forest and she's doing her thing, but she actually
Why does
defeats
Artie
the
have such
wolf
good skins all
to
the
save her
time?
grandmother. And instead of the wolf going away, he's impressed by her power. So they decide to join forces, and they join together. And Artio harnesses the power of that wolf to protect any other travelers that move through the forest.
There's a story behind the whole skin?
Yeah, there's a backstory.
Wow, okay. So she goes to save her
Yeah, the wolf
grandmother.
is not quite as impressive in game,
Finds
but
the wolf. The wolf goes, you know what, don't kill me. I'll
Red
join
Riding
you.
Hood
We'll
model is
go
really
to the
cool.
battlefield.
Exactly. To save everybody else traveling through the
Kill
forest.
everybody else.
I was wondering what
Definitely
that teaser
looks
was
good in that
about. I didn't
outfit
even
too.
like...
Definitely a difference in the model change
figure
as
that.
well. You can
Alright,
tell between the
definitely.
differences.
Yeah.
Oh wow, the effects. That's so nice. The green with the red skin.
Love like the leaf and nature effects on all the abilities.
Definitely a oh.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
Blue. I was like, oh, it's like a wintry feel to that
Right,
too,
yeah.
with the flowers
But
down.
you've got
on
like
the
the
ground.
grass on the ground and stuff.
This is so cool.
Now, this skin, I believe, will be available the week of May 7th.
Right.
I believe. So, what's this about? Is it because because the patches have changed now, we release skins throughout
Right,
the
we've got
patch?
just a little bit. We did
Yeah, take it back.
towards the beginning of the season. We kind of changed our patch
Maybe the
release
skin
cycle,
from the
how we release
skin
content.
contest
So
may
we've got
work.
new stuff every single week in Smite.
So whenever you tune in every single week, log into your game, you might find something else available to unlock. And this is the Fabled Artio. I want to call it Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
That's just habit, right? Now, it does have a VXG, supposedly, this skin I just heard as well. Let's have a look at
It
that.
does.
Huh?
She's
Skipping through the woods.
That's what I do. Skipping through the jungle. You're on your rotation, stick on the animation, roam around.
Right?
That's what it looks like to me. Just slicing away with that too. Wait, what?
Oh, yeah. You know, you've got to have 2 VXGs, one for the wolf and one for Arya.
You do.
It's so good.
That one definitely wins.
Oh,
though.
yeah.
Just run around the map as that. So a little close up.
It's a good doggo.
He is. He's begging for a treat right about now. So that's the fabled Artio. And we should be able to listen to the voice pack as well, I believe. Clumsy?
Ha! Trust me, you need to be protected from me. I should watch it. There's a big bad wolf in these woods.
Attack!
No. Excuse me.
What did the little girl say when she saw the big bad wolf wearing sunglasses? Nothing. She didn't recognize him.
And that's the fabled Artio. But we've still got one more for you.
And this is my favorite skin this patch.
All I've seen is the name, right? I've not seen anything else, but it's Blinky Chibi Giannis.
It is so good.
That's the favorite skin. With the Alprush skin and the Red Riding Hood existing?
I love that.
mustache
I don't
is
know.
on point.
He looks like a little knight. Oh, he is a little knight. That's great.
I'll take it.
I can hear aggro cheering in the background right
Big
now.
blue eyes as well. I actually
Wait,
really
he
like
only
this
has one
guy.
head?
It's
Quite a
super
lot.
good.
What's up with
Angry
that?
And of course,
face?
with all the chibi skins, we've got the expressive emotions
Of
that
course.
they'll cycle through.
Well, it's also to do with his passive, right?
I do
He's
not want to see
technically he's
Giannis
got
in my
multi-face.
games.
Right.
Does
I'm
our
not a fan of
Giannis, we
this.
don't know it. He's also Paul, God of Gods. That looks really cool. Get us in game. Yeah. Show me.
The recall.
Okay, that's
With
cool.
the love heart eyes too.
Oh, and the bright, colorful effects on everything.
I go fast.
Oh, I love the voice actually too.
Go, go, go.
Really?
Those portals look awesome.
I didn't take Hindu the
They've
type to
definitely
like
got the
skin.
anime cartoony vibe to them,
yeah.
you know?
When I think of the chibi skins, I think, you know, Saturday morning cartoons and like the effects.
Why does the Jew have
call
such a
back.
massive
I'm not gonna lie, I'm
hitbox?
stuck on the wrong.
When you think about it, it's
Right?
so
Yeah,
easy to
all the
confirm
time
it
with those
somewhere.
chibi skins, so it's not going to be a surprise to see me join them with
It's
the
actually like a massive
Unstable
wide
vortex.
line ability.
Space
Because you
Tunnel.
can't really juke in between most of the time.
Nice.
Ooh.
It's almost like the portals are just a little bit
I
tiny.
just realized when it,
because
with
they
this
don't need to
animation,
be
like it's
as
so
big.
more
It definitely
obvious
does look like that way
how
for sure.
big the hitbox of the two
I'm
actually
trying to
is.
listen more to like what he's saying, Jordan.
I go fast. Super shotgun sniper.
Super shotgun something is what I heard there as well. It's got a voice pack with it. Let's have a little listen to this.
It's time to send you off to another world. One with vicious, angry dinosaurs or scary slime monsters. I am very unstable now. You might want to back off. I was going to just portal everyone into another dimension, but where is the fun in that? Attack! Defend!
I was gonna say it's so quiet, but then the rest of the lines are way louder.
So now I look like this. Chibi!
Definitely one to add to the Chibi collection for sure. That is going to be
definitely.
available May 20th.
Yep. Week of May 20th.
Awesome. So that's going to be out May 20th as well. And that's all of them.
Yeah, that's it.
We're done. Should we,
Yeah,
should we
kept it
wait a
short and
little bit
sweet.
longer?
No, like I really want to see Horus.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to wait, we can. Like.
No, I was hoping you'd say it so I'd look
cool.
like the good guy. And like, no, we're not going to do that. Let's go over back to Ryan, the guys in the casual set, and go through the other god coming out this week.
Let's
Horus.
see.
I can't wait to play a whole lot of Giannis with that skin and really tilt people. Where living where I shouldn't because I'm playing Giannis and then spamming that laugh.
Check him out audio again.
Catch me in your
Voice
low
back's
elo
top
ranked
tier.
games soon. All right, to go over Horus, the second god
Yep,
in this
looking
update
good.
show. Still got Pon Pon and AJ joining us, but this time we've got Ian from the animation team to come along and talk a little bit about Horus and his animations because he's a lot more grand, I would say, than Set. You know, Set is the lurking and sneaky and fast. Horus just is. He just kind of exudes this power about him.
Yes.
Set is wild, and Horus
Yeah.
is refined, civilized.
That's
a
right.
gentleman.
He
sorts.
enjoys a nice glass of wine with his dinner.
He does.
Set drinks, I don't know, something else. So while Set is this clone-based assassin, Horus a much more supportive warrior, not
Set
a
drinks
traditional
salad
warrior
juice.
even, but much
Right.
more focused on defense.
Just
yeah,
saying.
so this is something we kind of wanted to capture their general like lore personalities in their kits. Where Set relies on himself, he only trusts his clones to do what he needs to do. Horus basically is the rightful heir. He's the leader, and he's leader by right, but also leader because he knows that he needs to serve his people and he needs to trust his allies. And so his kit's all focused about enabling his teammates. Some abilities actually don't function without a teammate presence.
So he's not going to be a great duel god, you're telling me.
Probably not.
People figure it out.
Fine.
Someone will find a way.
There'll be a
I see
Horus
enough
only.
dual Kepri videos that Horus will be there somewhere.
Exactly. Someone will do a video series on it, and we can all enjoy it.
So, he's also a sky god, and his
Yes.
wings and his bird features were a big part of his design, and therefore you'll see heavy mobility themes in his kit.
Yes.
Okay.
It's very mobile.
So Set, I wouldn't describe Set as super mobile. You know, among assassins at least. I mean, he's got a ton of attack speed and
No,
all that kind of
he's got
stuff.
one
but
mobility
really
ability, so
only
of course not.
teleporting with the sandstorm. He doesn't have any hard CC in his kit.
Yeah,
that's Set.
that's an interesting feature.
And
of
no
Set.
CC immunity for him. So Horus having mobility as the warrior, if I were to guess which one would have had a lot of mobility, it would have been Set. So that's kind of interesting.
Horus also has the CC.
Okay.
Yes, all the CC.
If you're going to play a support style warrior,
It's
you
kind of
gotta
odd how Set didn't get
That's
the
right.
CC
You're gonna
and
need
the
that.
mobility. You know, Horus
But
gets both. But
I imagine that means that he's trading off damage as his main trade-off for having a lot of utility.
Yeah, so he doesn't have as much high damage or high scaling as other characters. He has only really 2 reliable sources of damage, and so that generally means that his player damage is lower. But he does bring a lot of setup for your team. He brings a lot of control for your team, and he also brings some interesting utility. That we'll get
big
to.
ol' plays.
Yeah, big plays.
Big
I'm
plays.
ready.
We're getting ready here. We're almost ready here for Horus. We're making big plays.
Ajax seems
with
way
him.
more
I'm
excited for
excited to
Horus than
see.
Set.
I kind of liked that thing that we did that Clumsy got a chance to kind of show the whole kit and what
Oh,
it can
yeah.
do at first. Let's see if we can do that for Horus as well, as we should be ready to go in game in just a moment here. And here he is, in all,
model
in
looks
all
definitely
his
very
glory.
nice.
The
Those
wings.
wings.
looks very cleaned up
beautiful.
as
The
well.
most spectacular set of wings yet to be put in the game, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe closely rivaled by Thanatos, but
Yeah, I was gonna say the new Thanatos skin and the old tier
These
5
ones look better
Thanatos
than
have
that.
pretty incredible wings, but these feel much more like they're gonna get put to use
that is
You
true.
know? with this character, and maybe that's a hint to what
They're
uh,
very
what
feathery
we'll
like
see.
that.
So
animation.
Clumsy, why don't you just kind of go off a little bit and
Hey, where's the
show us what
stuff?
Horus can do?
Does stuff only come on certain abilities?
Oh, he's getting set up. He needs to do some commands first.
Okay,
So yeah, you can show the alt early. It's okay.
you just want to do the alt right away? That's
Well,
gonna
if he fits it into the kit.
all right. This isn't the alt.
Knockup.
That's
Line damage, dash, the shield. or
definitely a lot of
something?
mobility
Yeah.
right away.
Oh, ally dash, heal, and ultimate. And now
Okay.
he's gonna
Go.
bring them down there.
Do it.
Here we go.
It's time for Ghostbird.
Yep.
Look
Wait,
at
okay,
those.
hold
I
on.
knew it.
The Odins were back there.
Yeah, they
back
were.
there.
Now they are up here.
That's
Yes.
exactly what happened.
How he just
Guys, we
And
all
then
we all saw the leak. We know that is how it's
Okay.
gonna work.
So let's start with
great.
the basics and the passive. Let's go
sure.
back through order
Yeah,
now.
let's start there. Yeah,
Ian,
why
tell
not?
us about these basics, man.
Cool. So yeah, obviously, just looking at him, you can see that his wings are the
What's
big
his stuff?
piece of this character. It's sort of the hero of his silhouette, and as such, we really wanted to lean into that. You know,
Ah.
we've had big, grandiose wings in the game before, but we've never really put them to use the same way we are with Horus. And it just seemed like a really good opportunity to see how far we could go with this. We thought, what if he actually does attacks with these things? Like, they're essentially
I
giant,
thought that was like
slappy
the
sword
core
arms on
story
his
that they
back.
both
you
used
gotta
as
use them for
staffs.
something. They're
Yeah.
too big to ignore. So
So cool.
from the ground up,
They were
Ricky
used in the
even
trailer.
thought redid how we handle wings in the game just for this. It's a brand new, highly experimental, very successful rig, and it was a blast to
Nice.
work on.
Yeah,
And I like it. Just it makes him feel so different from the rest of the roster. You know, as we continue to grow, we're gonna keep trying to push ourselves to find these ways to make our new gods feel more different.
I really don't get how they
each
had
one
to
more different than
have
last.
set
Yeah, Ian
stuff.
came
and
over and was like, "Yeah, so how do you
Horus
feel
doesn't
about him
have his.
attacking with his wings all the time?" I'm like, "That's pretty cool." And then I saw it in game, like, "Yeah, no, that's awesome."
No weapon necessary. I
Doesn't
got
need
him.
it.
I got him right here.
But he
That's,
does use his weapon in some of his other
Yeah,
animations,
absolutely.
which you'll see.
That's true.
Okay.
All right, so his passive looks thematically similar to that of Set. The same sort of circle that gets filled, but I'm guessing his is a little bit more defensive.
Yep. So we're Set focused on being offensive and attacking. When Set is attacked, he gets a stack of Resolute, which gives him some protections and some CCR. So he gets some crowd control reduction. And then when these stacks fade, so if Clumsy walks back, he gets a heal once they fade based off the amount of stacks you get. And
Okay.
of
Why
course,
does that
if
sound so
Set
much
is the
better
one
than Set's
attacking
passive?
Horus, he gets
It's
2
just
stacks.
attack speed.
Of course, because again, they really don't like each other very much.
Correct.
So is this only on God hit or?
This is only on God hit.
Okay, so
So-
you can't just tank a minion wave and get a
Correct.
huge heal off of it.
But it does mean that some characters can stack this up relatively quickly, like Jormungandr basic attacks will stack this up very fast.
Sure.
And so this means that you're kind of encouraged in lane to really kind of be the front line, block your
This-
teammates, and you're
this
rewarded for doing
and
such by getting more
tank
protections
boots.
and then a heal at the end to kind of recoup some of your losses.
I love how their passives are. The two gods are kind of inverted.
of dot
Yeah.
gods.
And they're thematically similar but opposites, just like the gods themselves.
And it does seem, I will say, that if they're going up against one another,
Where's Set not get a heal?
Horus might get the better end, right? I mean, he gets the protections, yeah, and the heal.
Yeah, that is until set ults, because then his
Oh, yeah.
passive is unbounded.
We should do a Horus versus Set only duel event.
That would be very cool.
That'd be good.
I'll be down with that.
That would be interesting.
All right, so let's take a look at the
I mean,
first
Set
ability.
should
This
win
one's
that by all
called
accounts, considering
Updraft.
he's designed to
This is
do damage and
a
kill
kind of-
targets.
Is this a
If he
multiplier?
doesn't, then
How
he's
does
probably
this work?
trash.
So when
Just
you first
saying.
cast it, you're basically going to create a draft around you, and enemies around you get knocked up into the air. But then his kind of he has the currents around him. He can kind of tap into that. His next basic attack is going to create a gust of wind that passes through all targets. And when you hit a target, it will slow them. So basically, you're hitting them with the wind. They can't move as fast. They take some damage. But if they're in the air, so if you want to just focus on damage, if any target that's knocked up for any reason, you'll get bonus damage on them.
Okay, so this is his main damage dealing combo, but you have to be awfully close.
Yeah, you have to be close, and you're basically choosing, do I immediately want more damage on the target I'm knocking up, or do I want to save that charge, so in case, like, maybe I need to peel from my backline, I want to have that charge to slow someone chasing my backline.
You can prolong the CC.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
By waiting for that knock up to completely
the
land, and
damage
then you
seems
can
low
slow
either
down
way, so-
afterwards, really keep them in place longer, or you can go for the burst combo.
You always get the second line shot, though, regardless of if you hit anyone up
And
or
you can
not.
even store it and use other abilities in between, correct? And then come back and fire it.
Okay.
So you can do 1, save the basic attack, 2, and then fire the 1 basic attack.
It does have a relatively short duration you can store it.
Yeah, it
though,
looks like about 5 seconds.
Yeah, about
on
five
tooltip.
seconds.
So you don't have forever, but definitely
it's not
can
too
hold
bad.
that off. Okay. As a backliner, I already like the idea of them knocking up the warrior next to me and then slowing them. I like where we're going. All right, the second ability after updraft, that is called Fracture. Talk to me about this one.
So this is kind of another 2-part ability, and this is focused on actually the weapon that he brings. If you watch a cinematic, he kind of magics in the weapon. He's going to be using the weapon here. At first, he just kind of charges forward, and that's a decent enough move ability on its own. But if you hit a god, he'll combo that. He'll stun the god, and then combo that into a cleave attack.
Oh, that's a
and
stuff,
that cleave
right?
attack lowers protections. So basically, you're fracturing their armor with his weapon. And you can actually hit a god and turn around and use that cleave on someone else or a
Interesting.
nearby target, or you can use it on the target that you just stunned.
He's
Okay.
two
So
dashes.
you can already see he has a knockup
tank.
and he has a stun, and he can lower enemy protections. So he's really focused on
And a slow.
locking and slow. He's focused on locking down a person and making it sure that his teammates can do maximum damage to them.
So
Actually
we're only
still
through the
has
first two
decent
abilities, but I have
damage
to
on
ask.
that.
With every update, with every god we're releasing in an update, is there only a certain amount of CC that we can give to any god?
I really
and we
wonder
just
how
took
much
all of the
passive heals.
CC away from Set and handed it over to Horus? Is that
Not how it works,
get,
Aggro.
so we could get underneath the point total?
That's why they hate each other so much.
Each god has their own unique goals and
Yeah.
themes, and as a support-style warrior, additional amounts of lockdown is very important.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting that like this is maybe a high meta for this, but like warriors have different itemization choices.
Yep.
And they bring different things for being a physical damage dealer. And so especially with like, for example, you have like Stone of Binding and Void Stone as like these kind of like more cheap offensive choices, where Horus doesn't have the same access to those kind of items. He doesn't have CDR boots, and so making sure he has pros to make sure that he can fill that support role is important. So he does get a little extra
That's fair.
strong CC, but his damage is lower because of that. His itemization choice, he has to make some interesting choices there. It should be interesting though, and he should be able to flex into the support role pretty well.
Okay, all right. Especially with this third ability called Protector Surge. This is the
Yeah.
one where he selects an ally and then seems to rush to them pretty quickly.
Yep, so you need a friendly target to cast this. You can't cast it on yourself, but you target a friendly ally, and you will fly to be their saving grace. You'll fly to them, and not only would you burst of AoE at the end, so any ally that's
Yeah,
around
so the
target
vortex
you
part
will
is
also
gone,
get
hey?
healed, but you also give them protection buff for a short duration.
I like that.
So if they're in the middle of combat, you give them a little
I don't
bit of
see
extra
to
mitigation.
play him like.
You may also target minions with this.
You can also target
Oh.
minions.
Oh, okay. So it
I
is
was gonna say,
usable
I don't
if
see how to
you're
use it in
solo
solo
laning
though,
or something
but
like
that makes sense. then.
Correct. This ability has some very interesting applications. You can really dive really deep with Horus, and as long as you have one of your teammates kind of standing in a safe place, we always see that calling each other out in the playtest, like, Clumsy, come here, and then I just dash to him to save my own ass, you know?
It's kind of like dodgy.
He can do all sorts
Never
of
works.
crazy stuff with that ability.
Well, maybe
now,
they,
is this
they will
considered
do
a
now
dash? Like,
because
if
he
he's
can heal
crippled, can he
someone.
still use it?
So it's technically considered elite.
Elite.
Okay.
And
He's untargetable while traveling, right, Pog?
yeah, he's untargetable while traveling. You can go through walls. But if he's crippled, yes, he can't use it.
He can or cannot?
He cannot.
Cannot, okay. And if it's a leap, can I a Willix pull him during this? Do you know?
I believe you can.
Okay.
Yes.
Makes sense. He's
That would
fine.
be
Pretty sure you can.
a rough
Seems
counter.
good to me. All right, let's go
Finally
over
some
that
new
ultimate
counters
one
for
more
her.
time
Anyways.
because I'm still a little perplexed.
Okay, so
Now this is an ultimate we've been wanting to put in the game for a really long time. It's been
Yes.
attempted many times.
we finally
Been
did
shot
it.
down for many various reasons, but we know we've wanted to do it. We
Man,
made it
this is
happen on
damage.
Tell Us How It Works.
And
Okay,
a
so to
shield?
the skies. Horus will begin
What?
channeling, and you kind of saw how he had like this kind of ghost bird fly up when he used it.
Okay.
That's actually him sending a mirror image of himself to kind of scout the surroundings and find a location to land. You can see he's on the ground there.
Oh, you
he's
can attack him still.
damageable. He's fully damageable on the ground. Enemy teams can collapse and kill him there if you want. if they
Don't
want to.
use this mid-combat.
Yes.
Not a good idea.
Well, you can try, but you
Yes.
will take a lot of damage. You can attack him the entire time.
Okay.
He's down there. This is. It feels like you go up in the air like Thor, Rat, etc., but you are still on the ground and you can take damage. So be careful.
Yep.
Okay.
And so once you decide that, okay, here's where I want to land, you left click, and both the mirror image and Horus will kind of change their animation while they're there, and you'll see that kind of build-up effect. If you are in that circle as an ally, when that build-up effect ends, you will go with him. So you'll be able to choose, hey, do I want to follow Horus, or no, he just selected the enemy fountain, I don't want to follow him. You can walk out of the circle, you can choose to follow him.
Beware of trolls.
Yes, but
gonna
after
happen.
that 2 seconds,
Oh, I like that. So you can
if you're in
tell
the circle, you will
beforehand.
go. And he will take allies, gods. He'll also take ally pets. So in a very early playtest, actually, Tina threw down a Tusky that ended up not getting anyone because they were all around the wall.
Well, it's kind of toxic to call Tina for this, isn't
No,
it?
it happens.
Tina's our Artemis main.
Yeah,
That's true.
it ended up being a great play because I took the Tusky to the enemy and ganked with Tusky.
No, I was the victim.
Yes.
I was like, Pod dropped on me, and I was like, wait. I just got Tusky stunned. Did you bring Tusky? And he goes, oh, I think I did. Like,
It wasn't intentional, but it was cool.
Genius.
Wait, can you steal
We've been
Calder
having a
from
whole bunch of fun
Scotty?
moments in the playtest where we just do kind of really crazy stuff with this. Some to success and some to landing into a immediate Kraken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Your
bring a
whole team is
Loki
going to be
decoy.
there potentially,
Yes.
so.
but the area of effect has a big effect going on there too.
Yeah.
So
I really wonder
when
what you can break
when
with
you land,
this.
not only do you knock away people that are in that circle, so
This
if
is a new
there's enemies in the
meme
circle, you
god,
knock
so-
away, and you damage them a little bit, but your allies and yourself get a shield. which
anyone who traveled.
Yes,
Okay.
anyone who traveled is going to get that shield, and so you can actually use this pretty effectively to make sure that even if maybe like you're dropping on someone who's a bit dangerous, you have some protection. So
Wait,
you're
how
not
long does the shield
immediately going
last?
to
It
die.
doesn't say.
So, if I'm on the enemy team, can I see the ghostly form of Horus looking for a spot?
Nope. So you only see the horse on the ground. You don't see the ghostly form looking for a spot. And why your teammates get to see the full 2-second warning of where you're going to land, the enemy actually only has 1 second of warning.
Oh,
so
wow.
that way, you still have
It's
some
so scary,
reaction time
man.
to horse is about to drop here, but it's not like okay.
Drop another
we know
fire
you're gonna
giant
drop
all
here,
the
everyone
time.
Get in formation, get ready to cast everything. You have to be pretty reactive to what horse is doing.
Enemies only see him channeling and a warning effect on the landing area.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. Allies see everything.
Yeah, and that was a big thing about this ability was finding that right balance of how much feedback do you give enemy players versus how much feedback do you give your allies. And I think we got there. I think
I say
think
a
this
lot
is
of
really
unique
cool.
challenges to this ability. Obviously, in pro play,
It's
it
gonna-
has extremely high potential.
I'll tell you what, man. This is gonna do some nonsense.
But we wanted to make sure this ability still felt good if you're solo queuing arena or joust, so that's why it has some cool effects on the landing. You can kind of dunk people on your own, as long as you do it from kind of a hidden location. If you just try to use it mid-fight, not so much. So we wanted to, because of its utility applications, we wanted to make sure it was actually explicitly worse
To be fair, if
to use in combat.
all your cooldowns
So if
are
you're
down,
just kind of hitting level 5 in
I
lane
guess.
and squaring off against the opponents, you try to use this, it's not going to do so much, But that's because it can do so much in other ways.
It's gonna be so much fun, man. I could just imagine like I'm full health. My
you
mage
can
just
go
use their
far.
dash or something like that, but they're still healthy, so I can teleport to them, immediately start channeling it, and then that warrior
go
assassin knows I only
really
have
far.
a couple seconds to kill this guy before he's out of here. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna be nowhere close
And
to him.
we really wanted to make sure the feedback was very clear on the channeled form, so allies have time to leave the area if they don't want to go along for the ride.
Yeah, and you can see there's like a giant light column beam with a Eye of Horus that also appears so that players know like, okay, I roughly understand where we're going.
Okay.
There's been, this kind of topic has come up in community discussion for a long time about being able to relocate other gods, and we don't ever plan to add a relocation ability that's not optional. So
Okay.
people
Yeah,
pitch ideas
good
all the
call.
time. Oh, let me pull an ally to me. that is not something we plan on doing. The frustration and troll potential is just too high for that.
Fair. Sure. Fair.
We want to make sure that you're making a choice as the Horus player and Horus's ally. And that's why we made to very deliberately design this ability with these multi-phases to make each of those options clear and let the allies make that
I hope
choice.
they're going to make like a thresh
If you're still
lantern
one of those
day.
people out there that's hoping we just let you pull your allies to you, not going to happen.
Just
Play
basically take
Horus
a lantern and then
and
you-
enjoy it, because this is what the game design allows us to do.
This is what you're getting. And it's a pretty good one, to be fair.
You're not getting time
It's still incredibly powerful and terrifying effect, as I'm sure chat is talking about right now.
So, man,
I'm
that's
ready
going to be
for
my red
SPL.
buff. My red buff's now gone, and their whole team is here. Why is there a Sobek here now? I don't know.
Sobekbot's chilling around. He's doing his thing.
Well, it's Egyptian themed, right? So Sobek deserves to be around. Absolutely.
It's actually
amazing.
very random.
Horus looks incredible. Let's take a listen to his voice pack.
Everything the light touches is my kingdom. Even you fall under my protection. For such strength to be wasted on
Surprisingly
evil,
wholesome.
it is not too late to choose the right side. Attack! Defend! The sky is the limit. No, seriously, my domain ends at the sky. Space doesn't fall under my jurisdiction.
Yes.
There you go.
Had to have at least a bird laugh.
Had to, right?
Oh, I like you went with a more chicken direction on this
Yeah.
one.
Also, I gotta say, Ian, this laugh animation is great.
That's
Oh, let's see it again.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Oh,
we
too late. Oh, go ahead.
here we go.
Well,
We're
let me
back.
see it, let me see it.
You really,
Oh,
it's
nice.
the full belly laugh.
I get kind of a old cartoony vibe from it.
Yeah.
A lot of
My boy-
inspiration from the early Looney Tunes, Disney, Time Warner, I guess, and those type of
Yeah.
things.
I dig these releases. I think they're
awesome.
going to make
That's great.
It's
things
flawless,
interesting.
man.
Both of
Horus
them.
and Set, again, both coming together around April 30th when we're hoping for.
Gods.
Yeah, two gods in the same update. It is going to be absolutely nuts.
For
Pon,
the first time ever.
we're there.
Yeah.
You're done. You don't have to do two at the same time anymore.
Thank you.
We're good. Everything is awesome.
On to the next one.
On to the next one. That's right.
We already are busy on the next one.
As always, we're always busy at it. Guys, Pon, Ian, AJ, thanks for joining us here. Thank you for watching the Sand and Skies update show again, April 30th, when we're hoping to
Wait,
push this update
what about
live,
the new
but
adventure?
Make sure you're staying tuned to the Smite Game Twitter and on all that kind of stuff on Reddit.
Was that just
We'll be
supposed to be a
updating you
skin? I thought
there
it was supposed
all
to be a
the
new
time.
adventure.
We're going to go to a wait screen now as this update show is done, but I do want to let you guys know
it's just-
Esports Weekly coming
it's
up
just meant
at
as an
5
event
o'clock. Just a couple minutes. So go, grab a snack or whatever it is. We really appreciate
All
you
right,
sticking around
okay,
and
I'm
watching,
surprised.
though. Our new Esports Weekly format has been super fun, and we think you guys will really enjoy it. But again, make sure, Smite Game on Twitter, all that kind of stuff. Also, play SmiteBlitz.com if you missed it. Whole new game. Go sign up. The closed technical alpha that you can get to be a part of very, very easily. Again, play SmiteBlitz.com. Thanks very much, and you can peach for now.
No, I'm very surprised that it wasn't actually an event, because they very much made it sound like an event. Sorry about that. I'm as confused as you may be. But then again, I'm also still happy with just having two god releases in one patch. That's enough for me. I'm a bit more skeptical about Set, because Horus definitely has everything he needs in his kit. A lot of sustain, a lot of mobility, a lot of replacement, like CC, everything is there. And Set is a lot more high damage, high risk, hybrid between ability and AA damage, and kind of not having the same safety as other AA gods, like not having a big CC immune Bakasura ult, not having a Kali ult for survivability, not having a stun. Gonna be interesting. How he, like, for example, Awilish kind of has this hybrid position because she can CC a lot. And I'm not quite sure if Set can make that work the same way, or if you would need like a stun on his one or something. His one. But we'll see. We'll test him out in game. We'll see the numbers and everything, and then we'll know more. That's the thing with that Set. Like, he might be an assassin Anubis, because it might be that in order to offset the fact that he's lacking quite a few things, he's gonna have to have so much damage. Would make him like competitively relatively unviable, I suppose, unless he gets I don't know. We'll see. Good patch overall. I think I like most of the changes. What I highly dislike is that multiple hunters are getting buffed, but we are still not seeing any positive changes to jungle, and instead see another nerf to jungle. I really don't know where Horus is going with that and what they're thinking. It's going way too far at this point. But that's for another time. And for now, we are going to wait for the patch notes, wait for the written patch notes, and wait for PTS to go up, and then we will see more. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope to see you for the next one later. If you're new to the channel, feel free to hit this up button with the bell. It helps me out. DukeSloth out.